Mandy.
I'm not surprised.
I was like, Jesus, like, can I not get anything set up real quick?
Can I not?
Sitting there having a nice conversation with family, and then I just hear bing, bing, bing. What the fuck?
Bing, 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 bing,
Sure,
bing,
it's
bing, bing.
not the crazy frog.
It could have been.
Oh my fucking
It really
God.
could have.
Hot dog.
I haven't had to listen to that shit since like early high school. Do not put that back in my head.
Jenna.
Ding, ding, ding,
It's the
ding,
crazy
ding,
frog.
ding, 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 bim, bim, bim. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh god, everything's falling to pieces already. We haven't even hit like the 5-minute active mark yet.
Aren't you
Okay, Velvet Revolver.
Too fucking sober for this.
Fuck you, Burn. Son of a bitch.
What?
You could just go
That was
into
gonna be
the.
stuck in my head, dude. It's gonna
I
be stuck in my
didn't
head.
do it. You did
You
it.
said
What did
falling
you
to
do now?
pieces, and now I have fucking Falling to Pieces by Velvet Revolver in my head.
I mean, he ruined a song I used to enjoy quite a bit for me. So welcome to the party, pal.
What song did he ruin for you?
Oh,
Tell him.
So.
Just tell me the song name. Don't tell me how he ruined it. Just the song name, and then we'll
Welcome to
decide
the
from
Black
there.
Parade.
Oh yeah, you can ruin that one. I don't really. Whatever. How'd you ruin it?
I wound up using it as a spoken motivational speech for one of my characters during the ascending action of the campaign we were in together.
Oh, is there a video of this somewhere? Please tell me there is.
No, I don't think Nate recorded it. And I didn't either, because it wasn't during the time where I was streaming stuff.
You're gonna have to reenact it.
He did it in
Oh,
about
God.
the speed for you to slowly turn your head and look at him. Like, you're not fucking doing this. And he was like, that's why we're going to call ourselves the Black Parade. And I was like, I hate you so much.
All right, fine. You want me to recreate it? Here it is.
Oh please.
You can do it. I'm gonna go get my food.
All right. Hold on. I gotta take some more whiskey in my mouth. Because I gotta get into character. Because it was with Doc.
Yeah, no.
It was with Dakari, one of my latest and most favorite characters.
Yeah, no, after talking
We
to
found
Mary,
ourselves on the back end of being oppressed by the city of Doran. The people of the cut, you have found yourselves downtrodden and broken. Today we stand once again upon the hillside of change. If you don't stand with me, then what we will find is that we will be continued to be pushed down into the dirt as it's been done before for generations. Your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren will fall to the drugs and the labor that has been exploited by the individuals that run the higher councils of the city of Dorn. Now I ask you, are you willing to fight, or are you willing to stand idle? My father used to bring me to the city when I was younger, and I used to see the glistening walls standing against the sunlight. We always came every year after the Harvest Festival to see the marching band that went through the streets. He always told me that I would protect the weak and the broken, the lost and the sick, and that one day he would leave me, but everything he taught me would guide me. And that one day, much like his father and his grandfather had to do, had to lead my own Black Parade. And that was essentially the paraphrase of the speech to rile up the common folk to follow me into the city to cause a rebellion.
You need to do that on TikTok or whatever, and right at the end of it, you just have the piano play. Ding, ding, ding.
You don't
ding,
think
and
I had that playing through voice mod?
Oh,
I had it
my
playing
God, it's
softly.
fantastic.
I had it
That's
just
fucking
just
fantastic.
slightly ever in the background, and then I just ran the volume up towards the end and was like, as like the guitar comes in like after the intro verse, I was just, now will you follow me or will you die in the mud you found yourself? to try, and just like we all ran off because he was like, all right, roll to see if you persuaded at advantage, and I did it, and he was like, they get up and they just run behind you, and I'm like, ah! This is man in a like bloodstained leather apron with like a large machete and revolver because he was an artificer. It's just like running towards these steel gates with all these people behind him, all the group leaders like charging behind him like that are part of the different groups of the cut where essentially the poor people lived, and everyone was just running at the gates. It was just like you could hear the intro playing as they're running across the bridge, just dun, 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 as the note holds out, and then and it's just like a fucking hit the gate slamming. It was great. It was wonderful. In my head, in my mind's eye theater, it was wonderful to watch.
No, you should see mine right now because I'm just thinking those drum beats getting louder and louder as you're like getting more in depth in the speech, and then right at the like end of it, the guitar kicks in. Oh my god, it is golden.
The guard standing on the battlements. Do you hear boss music?
Oh my goodness, that's the greatest fucking speech ever. Oh man, they need to remake fucking Braveheart with that speech in it. Just saying. My God.
Go full
You finish
throttle.
your speech?
Yeah. So I'm
Now
gonna
that you're
try
thinking about what other
and
songs you can do that with.
oh, there's a few. I have to figure out how to do it though. I'm gonna try and get voice mod up because I wanted to have for some ambiance for you fellows. I just want to make sure that it is squared away while we're waiting to see if Cactus joins or not. As he's
As you were
he's here. God, every time I fucking say your name, you show up. Are
Right?
you listening?
It is literally the worst coincidence imaginable. Some random jack off got pulled over in front of my house.
Oh my God.
No.
I
And
love
I'm
it.
just-
I'm here for it.
I didn't at first. I didn't see the car got pulled over because it's too like there's a big ass tree there. So I see the two squad cars. I literally just came out with my hands up on top of my head and then knelt down.
Yeah.
And they looked at you like you were fucking batshit.
The cop literally looked at me and said, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "What? What?"
Then you realize it was a traffic stop, and you're like, man, I'm out here in my skivvies, ready to go to jail.
In my pajamas. I'm in my pajamas.
Looking like some.
I'm out there in my fucking with no shirt on in my fucking pajama pants.
You were mugshot ready, and it just didn't happen.
Florida
Son
man.
of a bitch, dude. My nerves. I can't.
Crisis, I thought the
So,
same thing.
Cactus,
I'm like, guys, like,
you-
live in Florida, even though I know you know.
You just missed. We were talking about songs that we have ruined by accident through our years, and
Bird, I got one. I'm sending it to you. I'm sorry, I got to.
Oh no, I got one too. So there's a song from Metallica called Die My Darling, right? And one of the lines is fuck, how does it go?
One of the lines is probably died.
Say goodbye to me, oh baby. And I cannot hear anything other than say goodbye, tomato baby. Sorry, no, don't cry me, oh baby. And I can't hear don't cry tomato baby.
well, I mean, that's fair.
It's not really ruining a song. I just misheard the lyrics.
Rage, do you want me to do this right now before we start? Will that make
but
you
wanna
happy?
do it right now? You want to do it right now? I wasn't expecting that. I was just saying like, there's
Oh,
one. I'll
that's-
do it.
I mean, I can put on the voice, get in character, and do it. I just don't have the backup sound.
Oh my God! Just let's go. Let's hear it. I want to hear this.
Right? All right. This was sent to me by Rage. This is in the voice of Etheria, which just happens to be the subject before we begin our mighty venture. As I stand here in front of forces beyond my own recognition, beyond something that I can't quite understand. They say that my back will be broken, that we will be pushed back to the edge of the earth, to be lost into the sea of forgetfulness. But I'm here, and I will tell you, that no matter what comes over that hill, no matter what stands in front of me, teeth bare and claws bored, that, well, I won't back down. No, I won't. I won't back down. You could stand me in front of the very gates of hell, but I won't back down. I'll stand my ground and won't be turned around, and I will keep this desperate world from dragging me down. I'm gonna stand my ground, and I won't back down. How was that?
I fucking need somebody to clip that. That was fucking fantastic. Oh my god.
What song was that?
That was Won't Back Down by Tom Petty, bro.
I don't
So
think I've
good.
ever heard it.
Oh, so good.
I'm glad
If you've never heard it, then you need to listen to that song. It's a great song. Oh fuck.
Alright, so, welcome, lads and ladies, players and viewers alike. After a little bit of deliberation and fixing of issues in the beginning, we have found ourselves once again on a Friday night for the campaign of Beyond Etheria Ashes. This is the third episode, with the title of The Dead Come Home. Where we last left our heroes, they had returned back to the Keeper's Tomb with Leandros in turn. They had recently gone back to Ravenholm and had fought their way inside. Fought their way to the throne room with the assistance of a mysterious dragon and its missing rider. Inside the throne room, they found a number of soldiers that bore the red plating with the symbol that was carried by the Corn General of Leandros. The man in red, the one that perpetrated the deeds and decided to personally fight Creed, was the man Creed remembered as the one that tried to kill him in the desert 13 years ago. He had a vendetta, and he was trying to enact it. He went into a short monologue in the beginning that was quickly interrupted, as the party found an opening, that he was arrogant, foolish, and that he wished to push back as hard as he can. As he fought Creed, their swords binding, he let Creed know that he was the one that killed Father Graydon. That he was the one that brought ruin to Glacier Keep with the death of all those innocents. And that he did not care for honor, as honor gets you nothing but a pine box and a nameless grave. He works now for someone who would pay him and give him what he needs to survive. And that is when he hit Creed with a mighty strike that sent him out of this dimension for but a moment. Inside of it, Creed heard a voice. He looked and he saw the framed figure of Leandros. After an emotional moment of staring at his newfound father's face, having been tortured and broken by the soldiers of Ares' Mars company, he pulled himself back to reality through sheer will, popping himself back into the throne room, where the rest of the party had begun to make short work of the soldiers and had wounded severely the man in red. At that point, Creed got a notion to have him and Okros hold the man still and let Yuri take his pound of flesh from the man that has caused so many issues and taken so many lives of innocents over the past few months, if not years. After being mortally wounded and bled dry like a Capri Sun by Yuri, Okros picked up the man in red, and Creed led them down to the dungeon where Leandros was being held. As they walked through the halls, they came across the bodies of the Mars Company soldiers massacred by a number of weapons, as each wound seemed to be different from the last. They saw slashing wounds, wounds from claws and teeth, puncture wounds from spears and arrows, and just bodies mercilessly thrown to the sides of the hallway, as whatever came through here like a whirlwind left just as soon as it arrived. They went down to the dungeon and found Leandros. Creed gave his sword to Leandros, who simply eliminated the man in red once put in front of him. A short greeting between him and the party, the rest of the party realizing who they were speaking to and the magnitude of what weight he carried. They all then simply got him out as quickly as they could, following back the way they came, back to the Keeper's Tomb, where they were met with applause and cheering, foods and drinks. After passing a unmarked grave on their way back, that seemed to be from one of the snipers that helped them on their first trek out. Inside, after the cheering crowds dissipated, they were met with the 2 members of the Wizard Sniper team, who one of them now carried 2 rifles instead of 1, who simply nodded towards the party as a sign of respect, as they knew the risk. Then they found a Tabby Tabaxi, who simply greeted the party as the one who tried to shoot the bear before it killed the party. The round that he fired, giving them the opening they required to deal with the situation at hand. And then they found themselves in food and feasting and relaxing for once. All but Creed, who seemed to be pulled to the atrium, the cradle, and saw visions from the crystal inside. He saw that he was being pulled through visions, almost as if he was a spectator of his own body, of his own mind, as it floated through the ether between planes. He found himself hovering around Zeus in the Prophet of Truth, the Prophet now mutated and twisted into the image of what Zeus decides his commander to be. They were working on a monster of sorts, something that was being worked on underneath their careful watch to become an enforcer of their rules. You were then pulled to an image of Ares himself, being handed a small figurine in the shape of Leandros off a map, the rage crossing his face in vile fervor as he throws the figurine against the wall, a scream of rage echoing through your ears as it passes out once again. The final vision, of course, finds you inside of a broken stone room with collapsed stone ceilings and walls. A simple black throne sits in the center atop a set of stone stairs where an old man in blackened robes and darkened armor sits, his white hair still frazzled and thinned as it once was. The man sits with an open chest on his lap, the walls made of a dark blue crystal, with a large structure behind him fractured and broken, made of the same material. As the camera, or as the vision, pulls you around the old man, your eyes tracing every detail as it is where you placed him the last time you saw him. You saw a green haze begin to pick through the walls and flow into the old man on the chair, where his eyes were then replaced from the blue-silver orbs you remember to the bright green mists. And he rose his head and simply said, "Welcome home, Creed. I'll see you soon." You were pulled out of your vision by the crystal thumping back against the ground as it lay dormant. You found yourself again in the abandoned halls of the Keeper's Tomb, where those that were patrolling were walking and those that were simply awake were meandering around the halls. You were then caught in your ears by the sounds of hand crank sirens and bells being sounded. The sound of footsteps running past you and towards you as you saw Leandros and Commander Bracken run past you, motioning towards the war room. Still with your head in a fog, you're met up by the rest of your party, who came up behind you, asked you what you were doing. You simply stated that you came to see what the matter is with the crystal. You pulled here. But in an instant, you regain your senses and you are brought towards the war room, where Leandros and Bracken simply state that the dead have come home. And if that light in the distance means anything, it means the Undying King has returned. And that is where we start our session today, where you're in the Keeper's Tomb as loud thumps and vibrations are heard outside as bells and sirens sound from inside the walls and from inside the halls where footsteps run rampant. Out of the viewports that have been bored through the mountainside and through the stone, you can see that much to what you found when you crossed through the Icelands towards the Glacier Keep. You see the shapes and silhouettes in the early morning of those same rotting trolls, of ghouls and ghast, of zombies, of other various creatures that seem to have been risen from the ground and sent to fight you. Leandros asks if anything has changed that has allowed the place to no longer be hidden from the gods. And none of you can really answer that question, as you don't know what exactly happened.
Well, it turns out the dead do not stay quite as dead as we thought. If I might be rather blunt, we're in trouble.
Leandros simply looks at you and goes, "I understand we're in trouble, Creed. It's more along the lines of trying to figure out how to get out of the situation we find ourselves is the problem."
Well, there is a rather simple solution. Which is we go out there and we just keep killing. And statistically speaking, sooner or later, whatever's out there will be dead.
He just kind of shakes his head at you and goes, "As much as I would like to tell you you're wrong, you're not in this instance at least. Alright, you're gonna have to buy us some time while we get people on the ground and people to start actually pushing to deal with the situation at hand. We haven't seen any eye or tail or anyone else that showed up that could be a problem. All right now is just the dead seem to be rising, and we need to put them back down. Our scouts have said that a green fog has started to spread across the landscape. We don't know what it is or what it's doing. Stay away from it."
I might have some information about that. That is what is bringing them back. I would not ingest it.
Wonderful. So that's what we're dealing with. Do you happen to know from whom this is coming from, pray tell?
Well, I have some idea about a possible source, but I don't think it's the original source. Probably coming from the Broken Spire. From the Undying King.
Are you sure?
He spoke to me, so I would say so.
Why now? Why has he returned now, of all time, to do this?
I don't think he had much choice.
Would you like to elaborate on that as well, Creed?
He didn't seem rather excited about returning to his position atop the throne, and he seemed rather happy when we
helped him along.
You're saying that you were the ones that killed him the first time? The reason the spire collapsed 13 years ago?
Well, yes.
Interesting.
I suppose. I suppose out of context that sounds horrible.
What it sounds like is that you're also the ones that touched the box. Right? The crystal chest that the Undying King kept very close to his person at all times, that was told to hold a power overwhelming to mortal men to hold.
I never touched it. I don't think anyone else did, except him. So, no?
Alright then, Creed. We still have the issue at hand, is that we are currently being assaulted by an undead horde that seems to be spawning from the Deathlands and coming down at the Keeper's Tomb faster than we could possibly prepare for. The resistance is meant to fight asymmetrically, not a whole-ass fight in the middle of the woods. You're going to need to get either time or you're going to have to thin their numbers. Figure it out. You got 10 minutes before they make landfall, before they get here. And then, unless other people are close by, you're going to be on your own.
You could probably do it. I mean, I'm optimistic.
You're optimistic about that? As he points his thumb backwards out the window towards the silhouette of the hordes that are slowly shambling towards the Keeper's Tomb.
Maybe. I like our odds about holding the line. We can definitely do that. Got to kill them all? Well, only time will tell. Personally, I do like our odds, though.
That's one thing you've always been good at, Creed, is having the confidence necessary to make sure the job gets done. Get the rest of your team sorted and get them ready to go outside. Once you're outside the gates, we're closing them behind you. We'll support you from here as best we can while we try to get whoever is incapable of fighting out of here, as we can't risk the entire tomb getting wiped out.
But of course, I understand.
All I'm asking you is to hold the line until we get everyone out. You don't have to do any hero business, Creed. As Leandros says that, he steps a little bit closer and looks down at you, putting a hand on your shoulder, and goes, I'm not losing you again.
I have no intention of being lost again. I've already technically died once. Statistically, I'm in the green.
He chuckles and goes, we're on short time. Go get them together.
I'll see you when the battle's won.
Go forth. Be protected. As he simply gives you the salute of Ravenholm, and you move out the door, meeting the rest of your party in the hallways, still kind of half asleep as they have some gear on, some gear off.
Well, I have some good news and some not so good news. Which would you like to hear first?
What's the not so good news, Creed?
The Undying King has been resurrected, and he's technically the source of, I suppose you could call them walking undead. The scourge, technically coming from his gravesite.
Do we know the numbers?
A lot.
I do.
A lot.
I definitely know the numbers. I have a premonition about the numbers.
You have a premonition?
Oh, yeah, it's a premonition. I wonder what this premonition was.
It's at least one.
It was
At
17
least
of them,
one.
all but 2 being bigger than we are.
17
what did you
premonitions.
say?
Wow.
No, 1 premonition, 17 enemies. I saw the battlefield. It'll be glorious.
So, Rage, Nameless, if you want to play it this way, here, I'm going to give you actual numbers that you have a premonition of. Give me an intelligence roll really quickly.
Oh, just
I
trying
make
to
my
force wall
shit
break.
canon, bro.
Rolls it
Your
out.
intelligence?
Yeah. Roll me
Intelligence,
intelligence.
okay.
Yeah. Thurlby is very disappointed.
12.
A 12? Alright, so
I'm still hoping for a nat 20 there.
so this is what you see. In your mind's eyes, you have a premonition of the battlefield ahead. You see a desolate, snowy forefront. Dead trees and shrubs and trenches line it, as defensive formations and fortifications have been put in place many months ago. Across the deep fog of the trenches, you see silhouettes beginning to rise. Just on the front line alone, you see 90 bodies. Give or take 10. In the group behind them, you see another 40 or so, possibly more. Leading those are 2 of larger species of these silhouettes, seeming to be broader, taller, angrier. But the one thing that really spooks you out of everything else are the towering shadows that fall behind those frontline masses. You believe that there are 10 of these that stand on the back lines, that slowly shamble behind them, dragging what looks to be broken pieces of buildings, tree trunks, and other large objects in their hands, making their own trenches through the snow line as they drag them behind them, marching ever closer to the Keeper's tomb.
So a horde, you say?
There is good news.
And what's
well.
the good news?
Well, the Andros asked for volunteers to go down and hold the line and attempt to buy time so that those who cannot fight are more secure area.
That's good news?
But of course,
I mean, I'm not stressing about no horde, that's for sure. I got my ways.
well, I volunteered all of you as well.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
I
Where
mean,
you go, we
Good old
follow.
Mullen told.
I mean, he was asking for volunteers, and he said, "Do you want to take the rest of the people you rescued me with?" And I said, "Of course, goodbye time." So, well, congratulations.
Where creek goes, we follow, apparently.
I'm just gonna start walking out the door, just singing to myself, hi ho, off to death I go.
Now, there actually is, I promise there is actually good news there.
The actual good news, Creed. Enlighten us.
But gear up. If there's something you need, by all means, take it. We'll, and he's gonna, do the awkward, back of the head rub. They're going to close the gates behind us when we leave, so,
So this
would
is a
be
get your
prepared.
shit and get out.
I'm not,
Get your shit and get
I wouldn't quite put it that way. I would say this is a time-sensitive task.
Alright, guess we gotta go, guys.
Alright.
Yuri, get off the ceiling.
I think a Gal 8 would be handy right now.
I am not on the ceiling.
The ceiling is on him.
I am
Man,
over
this-
here packing shit.
This apple whiskey tastes really good with player tears.
I am over here packing shit.
Wait. Crown apple or Jim Beam apple?
No, it's Irish apple whiskey. Like it's made from
that's totally
apples.
different.
I would like
You know
to.
what else is tasting pretty good right now?
I would like to take the moment to go look for fucking healing potions.
Peach Reese, Crystal Wind Infused. fucking joints. Ooh.
Do they have a better rifle anywhere?
So, each of you will get a chance to look for one thing to help you on this predicament you find yourself in. If you would like to find something, you will have to roll investigation and tell me what you're looking for. And I will tell you if you find it or if you find something different.
Well, I have an idea for my crowd control methods. Am I allowed to roll for something for someone else that might want 2 items?
No.
That is totally not fair. The fucking dice just slid across the screen and it didn't even roll.
Alright.
Well,
What if the 2 items are directly tied to each other?
How about you tell me what the items are and I'll give you a yes, no.
I want
Right.
C4 and a detonator.
That's not a thing. Good try, though.
He had explosive devices before.
He had clay pots full of black powder.
We have a Nez.
It's not the same. It's basically the same thing. Right. Can I get clay pots full of powder?
How about you go investigate for black powder?
Can I investigate for clay pots?
Sure, Link.
It's not wrong. I would not recommend breaking those open personally. There's not gems inside, and it's just going to make a mess or kill you.
7.
You find 2 decent-sized small clay pots that are about 2 feet tall by a foot wide. They would hold approximately, you would think, about 15 pounds of powder if Creed's plan is to go correctly.
Well,
Creed, you find quote-unquote black powder. You find a powder that you think is black powder.
it's salt. It's pepper, isn't it?
I mean, you do have someone who could identify it if you bring it to them.
Want to eat it?
I mean, you could bring it... Well, here, you get a choice. I'm going to let you make this choice. The people who I'm talking about cannot pull you in either direction. This is a Creed decision. And I'm going to have you roll wisdom on it, or you can do a high-low. You can either go to Nez or go to Okros. So you get to either roll wisdom, or we get to play flip a coin.
Yeah, wisdom is a +0, so I'm just gonna go talk to someone instead. I'm gonna be smart.
Wisdom is to decide who you're going to be talking to.
Well, I'm
You don't
screwed
get
here.
to pick.
So it's either...
I got a nat 20.
Oh, you got a nat 20? Okay. So you would realize through your thought process that Nez would be the one to identify best of what this powder is, as he is one that works with explosive compounds on a pretty regular basis.
I'm gonna fill my palm full of it and walk to him.
Making a trail of powder behind you.
Like a couple of hands, and I'd be like, "Can I bother you for a second?"
What is it, Creed?
Really,
Nez, you
Really,
turn and
really
you see
hoping.
Creed with his 2 hands cupped in front of him, his eyes wide as he's looking at the powder and you. As you see him holding what looks like black powder in his hands as it's dripping onto the floor.
I've never truly messed with it. Is this black powder?
What do you want me to roll now?
Give me an intelligence check. With advantage, because you're an artificer.
totally hoping Yosemite Sam doesn't exist in this universe.
That's all I'm thinking of right now.
Yeah, that's all I can think of.
Nat 20.
Wonderful.
So, with that, you can identify that is black powder. It is not peppercorns. It is not saltpeter. It is authentic, bona fide black powder.
Or I
Creed,
hands the pot
looks
to
like
little
a-
Creed.
Creed, it looks like you found some good black powder here.
Wonderful. I need your help.
Are we trying to make some bombs?
I need to find a way to strap it to my back.
Jesus.
You do realize I have a rifle, right? Are you sure you want to do that?
Can we
Are
not
you sure
blow
you want to
up,
go fill the
please?
Urukai in this?
He has a earnest look on his face. I should point that out. Like this isn't him like this isn't like, come on guys, it's gonna be wow. No. He's
This
like,
is as you ask him that question, Creed looks at you with the same stone-cut face you saw when he was facing down the man in red. This is not a joking manner.
Well, we need to find something where we can put it in first so we can even strap it.
Enter Jenna, or Aura in this case, holding 2 medium-sized clay pots.
I found some pots, guys. I think these might be useful for you. Bombs. Yeah.
Well, Creed, I think we have what we need to put the powder in and strap it to you. As you want.
And then
the
I can
last time I faced down death, I had an explosive underneath me. I assume the odds are better if it's on my back.
Hey,
Or just,
I
like,
mean, if you've
raising your
survived,
hands
you've
and
survived.
You'd have to. Oh yes. I was going to say you'd have to ask. What if? Never mind. So what were we doing? Oh,
I would say
yes.
pots and the black powder and create what he wants to go on his back.
he's gonna like extend the hands out.
Would you like some of this?
Creed, you have a moment of lapse where you realize that showing him where the barrel is would probably be best than what's in your hand.
Just come with me.
Is there a table nearby?
Yes.
He's gonna walk over and like open his hands on the table and then just take him to the barrel.
Beautiful. So, Jenna, you did the investigate. Creed, you investigated. Nez, you were helping with the explosives. So you can look, but you will be last. Nameless, anything did you want to look for specifically?
Yeah, so I have a little bit of a predicament first.
Okay.
I rolled that on the wrong character.
Okay.
So what would you like me to do? Do you want me to take that roll, or do you want me to reroll?
Roll it on the right character, if you can.
No, of course. I was gonna take that one. I mean, I was perfectly fine with that.
It's fair. I understand, but I'd rather you just. It's not canon if it's not in this multiverse. If that makes sense.
Well,
I
technically
somehow
we didn't
sense a
cover.
character from another world.
Suddenly, you see Nameless turn into a large Aarakocra who goes, "Squawk! I know what I'm looking for," and then turns back into a Tabaxi, and it's just like, what the fuck just happened?
Wasn't me.
So that's a 17, and I would want to either look for a better rifle or a good scope, if that's possible.
So, you go looking through the armory, as you are not the only person who's going to pick up equipment. You find that a scope has already been taken by some of the expedition teams that have already made their way outside. As for rifles, you believe that if you weren't in such a haphazard scenario where you know mobility is going to be key, you would definitely try to find a larger one that was not, if not already taken by the larger sharpshooters of the resistance that have gone through. The one thing you do find, though, is you find 10 rounds with red tips painted on them.
I will gladly take those.
You also refill your current ammo stocks, so you go back up to 20 standard rounds.
Started with 30.
You go back up to 30 standard rounds.
Okay, I want to make sure.
I couldn't remember if you went to 30 or 20 at start. You go back up to 30.
Yep, wanted to just try to make it canon, buddy.
Yep.
Red
fine.
tips, what are they called?
Just red tips. You don't know what they are.
Do I have to ask the Nez for that too?
You could, or you could just see what happens.
I feel like you're gonna ask me to shoot this pot, and I'm not gonna give any more spoilers away from that.
Something wondrous is gonna happen.
So, Nameless, you found those good red tips and some more standard rounds. Nez, we'll get to you. Okros, what would you like to look for?
I would like to search for some throwables, like Alchemist's Fire or something along those lines.
Good. Roll me investigation, if you will.
That is a 10.
You find one very curious object. It seemed to be in the armory and was just seemed to have been kicked into the corner. It's hard to tell what exactly it is. It doesn't look like any flask you've ever picked up. It looks reminiscent to an iron flask in the same sense of where the outside is metallic instead of the normal glass with swirling light or colors inside of it. This, instead of being those swirling colors, seems to be one even color across the metallic surface. About the size of a softball, with a small stem coming out of the top.
Pick it up.
It is dense when you pick it up. It has some heft to it. There is a small tag on the back that hangs off the stem. That the tag itself is attached to a small metal ring that seems to have been latched through the top. And it simply states, "Unstable, do not drop. Pull me, count to 3, throw, run."
Or simply grins and that's it.
You're gonna find some way to screw that up. The instructions are unbelievably clear. It's not gonna happen.
Don't spoil my fun. Yuri, what do you look for while you're all preparing and getting your gear together?
I'm gonna look for 3 empty flasks or vials, whatever, right?
Okay.
And just healing potions.
Okay.
I got a 19.
So, you find 2 standard healing potions, and you find 3 empty mason jars that smell of moonshine.
Good enough.
Very good. And then
Are they
last...
you said basic healing potions?
Yeah, they're just 2 basic healing potions. Alright, and then Warfin, what do you look for?
So I can make tiny clockwork devices, and I was just trying to get clarification on that. Can I make one that's mobile, something that can walk?
So you have about 15 minutes before the horde descends upon the tomb. So you would be able to maybe manufacture something very small out of the pieces you have on your person. But if you want to make something that could be mobile or do some kind of advanced tasking, it would take a significant longer time in patience and machinery than what you currently have at your disposal. You could do it, you just can't do it in 15 minutes.
Right. I want to look for something that's flammable.
So far, you have seen Yuri find 3 empty mason jars that smell of moonshine. You see Okros holding a softball that has a giant red tag on it. And you see Creed, Jenna, or Aura, and Nez all standing around giddily around a barrel full of black powder.
Okay, can I check what Okros and you said it was Yuri?
Yuri,
that had
yes.
Yeah, can I do a check on those to see what they have? Because I can do...
You simply I'll just give this to you. You simply walk up to Okros as you see this softball-sized device sitting in his large lionfolk hand. It seems small to him, but if you were to hold it, it would be massive to you. It has a metallic surface that is all one color, with small lettering that is very faded and unable to be read. The tag simply says, extremely unstable, do not drop. As for what Yuri has, Yuri found himself 2 standard healing potions that you see him put into his bag and attached to the strapping on the side for quick usage. The things that you see that he also found were 3 16-ounce wide-mouth mason jars that, as he opens and sniffs them to see what the contents were, as they are now empty, he is taken aback as he's hit by that sweet, sweet aroma of pure moonshine.
Okay. Can I do a check to see what exactly that Okros has? Like,
So,
to identify what it exactly is.
Sure. So you want to take the time before the Horde gets here to identify that object.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I need you to give me a... I would say intelligence, please. And I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you with advantage because you're a gnome. You know your way around small machinery.
Okay. Okay, 18 plus 2, or 19 plus 2, so I get 21. Because I had the, what is it called? Artificer's Lore.
Okay. So, with that 21, you sit there with Okros as you try to identify this object, and as you kind of look at it while he holds it so that you don't have to physically try to carry it, you realize that is a very, very, very primitive and rudimentary explosive device that is meant to be no fuse, no fire necessary, no flint. Just a simple pull of a metal ring and a toss is all it requires to work. And you can guesstimate by the size of this object and what you would assume would be the internal volume that it has quite a kick to it, so to speak.
Okros. Oh, what? That's number 1.
Hey, Okros.
Yes.
Seems like you got a handy-dandy bomb in your hand.
Excellent.
This'll spice things up. Nice bit of spice. So what you want to do? What you want to do is you want to pull that grenade, or pull that pin when you're ready to throw it, and chuck that bitch as far as it can go. I'll make a nice kaboom.
That I can do.
Yeah, I can't do it because it's about the size of me, but if you were to do it, I'm sure you'd prevail.
That voice is rusty.
Oh, yes. So, the last person that gets a chance to investigate would be Nez. Nez, you are currently helping Creed and Aura put together these devices filled with black powder and with a rudimentary fuse. Once filled and sealed with either the lids or some type of other things that you find in on your person, is that you simply strap them to Creed's back as he so desires. Why? It's best not to ask. So you finish that and you find that you have a few minutes left to go and try and see about finding something of your own interest that could be of use during this upcoming conflict.
I wish to look for a rocket launcher.
So
anything of that type.
So give me your investigation.
Lunge mine moment.
This will be a nat 1.
Yes, sir. Seriously. 14.
So you come across a couple of things. You see that whoever's been trying to make weapons for the Resistance have been using a lot of Ravenholm technology and other types of technology to try and bring things together to make it easier for the soldier to deal with the threats they come across. You pass through a couple of things, one of which looks promising, but you realize it's just a tube. So you move along. The next one you find is labeled as some type of projectile launcher. You realize it is but a large slingshot mounted on a large plank that would be propped on one shoulder and used to launch things a great distance.
Rudimentary Batman.
The last thing you come across is a small, almost rifle-like device with a large metal cup on the end. It seems to have a type of flintlock mechanism and has 3 metal balls with fuses coming out of them that lay next to it. It seems to have collected a thick layer of dust, as even to the Ravenholm soldiers, this is an outdated piece of technology. But you realize as you look at it that this must be what people used to call hand mortars.
That looks like what I was looking for.
So you pass by the large slingshot attached to 2x4s that would be quite funny and simply pick up the hand mortar and 3 rounds for it. And as you all return, you've all gone and looked for things. You found yourselves back in the corridor in full gear and ready to go. You begin to hear the noises outside. As the hand sirens being utilized by the troopers on watch begin to howl ever more fervently from outside the walls of the Keeper's tomb. The sound becomes unbearable at one point as more and more of them start to go off, telling you that whatever is coming has been seen by multiple towers on the western side. As the sirens begin to die down, alerting the people to what is coming, you hear in the distance just the sound of bodies shuffling. As you look outside, and you see the thing that you feared most. You see the shambling bodies of the occupants of the Deathlands as they have been marching across the desolate wastes, making their way towards you. It is not a happy time to be seeing these creatures. It is something out of a nightmare. You hear snarls and roars from the group as it continues to approach. Eventually you see the large creatures begin to crest the trenches. You hear roars exit across the landscape, echoing through the halls of the tomb. Leandros enters the hall, calling you all to attention, and says, "Now is the time for action if there ever has been one." And he simply points towards the front gate as he begins to lead people towards the rear one that exits towards Glacier Keep.
Somebody hit their head.
I do believe our dance partners have arrived.
Well, guess it's now or never, guys.
Well, out we go. Come on. What are we waiting for?
Itching to try out my new toy.
Are you
Go
going
on.
to...
Who's whistling?
I cannot believe I'm about to do this. Are you going to season them?
Thoroughly.
With all their spices?
Yeah.
I hold
And
out the rudimentary grenade. This should season them quite nicely, I think.
Let's get this pony show on the road.
You exit the tomb. The bell rings above your head from inside, symbolizing that the gates are emptying and that any last-minute stragglers need to return inside. On the third ring, the gates close behind you with a solid lock, leaving you outside versus the horde that is meandering and shambling through the green fog. You begin to feel a dark presence over top of you. Something edging ever closer through the mist. Something hungry. Something binding. The first group you see that exits over the trench, falling over each other in clumsy fashion, is this mob of ruined souls, of zombies, cresting over the trenches, falling on top of each other, getting ever closer, inching their way across the dirt of no man's land. Behind them comes forth other shapes, more ravenous, stronger, more stout, almost more confident in their abilities. You see groups of ghouls, their pointed ears and grayed skin poking themselves out across the landscape. In between them, you see larger variants, long grasping tongues covered in metal pieces, their skin flayed off around their arms and hands, giving them almost claw-like bones. But the last thing you see, that's the worst of all, are the 8 trolls that stand behind them.
I mean, I see 3.
These are mobs. Each token is representative of a very specific number of creatures, as putting each individual group down would be tedious and unhelpful. So in this instance, you see yourself facing down multiple groups of the same enemy type as they come across the landscape itself, crossing the trenches and putting you in between a rock and a hard place. As everything begins to shuffle closer, the snarls exiting across the trenches themselves, the groaning of bodies as they fall into the trenches and pull themselves up, the bellowing of the trolls from the back line dragging the tree trunks behind them. You find yourself in the presence of an army that is something that you didn't think you'd ever face. Now, the biggest question that lays ahead is you see the green miasma following them, billowing slowly in between the trenches and dead trees. You think you can hear words being spoken by the creatures that are making their way ever closer, but you're not entirely sure. To you, it sounds like a combination of words, of simple phrases that have been twisted together by decaying pieces and noises made of broken flesh. Unless someone gives me a perception check.
Yup.
I have a
That's-
+7 on perception.
That's a nat 20
All right, so
for a total
Oh,
of 25.
never mind.
So, Yuri being the first one to start listening closer, knowing that if he knows his enemy and something that piques his interest would definitely be something he could use against them. the word you hear that seems to come across the mouth of these monsters in a deep, raspy voice is Zeus.
Du hörst, ich bin keiner Leber.
Is that they're trying to sue us?
They're trying to sue us.
Sprechen Sie undead? Okay, I'm sorry.
That was bad. Shame on you.
Look, I
Did
just
you
ate
say-
I just ate a trio of fucking weed gummies like an hour ago. Bite me.
So the
Did you
words
say-
you heard,
Oh, that makes me want my
so
cookies.
that everyone can hear it once again, is Zeus.
Zoras.
Here.
Does anybody know Zoras?
Is it Zeus, Yuri? Did he say Zeus? Zoros makes me think it could be Zeus.
I mean, undead are not particularly known for eloquence. Probably.
So there was probably
Did
Zeus.
they say the name Zeus?
I don't know. I think so. Zoas, maybe,
So
probably.
Zeus.
Mm,
Yeah.
no.
We don't let the Russian do this.
You. Okay, that solves several problems I suspected. More good news, more bad news.
Not this
Good
again.
news is I know who's trying to kill us.
What's the bad news?
The bad news is it's the person who wiped out the entire army 13 years ago and caused me to end up here.
So it is
Enjoy.
Zeus. Lovely.
Yeah, all those gods, the problems, yeah, that's their father. So, good news, we know who's trying to kill us. Bad news, he's trying to kill us. So, you know what? Hopefully balances out.
As
But
Creed is trying to explain this to you guys, I need one volunteer to roll intelligence based on the current events they've been through.
I can do it.
All right,
Mine's a
Soph,
+1. I wouldn't
roll
do it.
me intel. In your mind, as Creed is telling you this, you remember a story you read about the undead that usually when they're brought forth in mass, it is due to a slew of emotions and runaway magic. Being a sorcerer of high caliber, you can understand how magic can corrupt. It can break things that don't meant to. And so, emotions being the ones that lead a lot of magic to the point of mastery, you question why the zombies would be saying the name Zeus if they were working for him. Because the last time you came across an undead creature that was summoned through malice is that they were saying the name of the person they wanted to kill.
Necessarily, they're coming
They kind of
because
going the wrong way for that.
I don't think that they're coming because of Zeus. I think they're coming for Zeus.
Do
I
you
think
want
that-
to? Do you want to go out there and see if bait?
I can have a chat with them if you want.
That was mostly sarcasm.
I can show them some spices that I know. Maybe get their mind off eating people for once.
Whoever is like toughest, hardest to hit person here.
If they don't listen to me, I can just burn them alive.
the hardest to eat.
Guys, we all have to agree on something to do. Like, do we
Wait.
try and communicate with them? Do we kaboom them? What do we do?
I say we burn them, but
Calm
That
down,
is just-
Lighterfingers.
that said, if we don't need to fight, we don't need to fight. They might not be here for us. But are they able to tell difference between us and Zeus people?
I could try just talking.
I ain't talking to anything. Remember what happened when I tried to talk to that bear?
Yeah. Yeah. I realized, yeah, I don't think I speak. I don't speak undead, so.
It's not a
Well-
Any of
language.
us do.
Well,
Oh, Zeus may not be here, but I'll gladly send him to him.
So as you all are just kind of by the gate, as you're watching this horde come closer, you're trying to gauge what exactly you're dealing with, trying to understand the situation at hand. You hear a unlatching, a deep thumping, a bunch of yelling, and then the reclosing of the gate behind you. As you see 3 resistance members that have come outside, as they just seem really excited to be here. Behind them, as they came out of the gate and it was locked up back behind them, you could hear cries of, or yelling of, don't do it, of resistance, of, you're being stupid, come back inside, this isn't your fight, we need to leave. They simply...
Are these kids?
No, they're not kids. They're just being idiots. They're soldiers. They want to get their hands dirty for the first time. Because you see that they don't really share the same colorations in their bands as you guys do, as you guys have been seasoned in the Resistance and you've done a lot of work. These guys look relatively fresh. And so seeing the undead shambling horde in front of them, they thought themselves easy pickings. And so before you can even decide how you want to really deal with the situation and try and find out if they are able to be reasoned with, you see these 3 soldiers run out past you as you also go, no, stop, come back, as they just sprint on past you and into the trench line where they run headfirst into the shamblers. They take a few of them down as the words now become clearer from the shamblers that they are yelling the word Zeus in their bellows and growls. As they take down a couple of them, they themselves get taken down by the sheer number of bodies that are falling over into the trenches. And that kind of answers your question of, are they looking for the right person and would they care?
Well, guess we gotta blow them up.
Oh no, who
Thank
could have
you,
seen that coming?
sacrifices. Thank you, sacrifices. Laura turns and yells towards the gate. Sorry, they did it themselves.
I would like to take a shot now.
Don't we?
Yeah, so at this point, you guys are essentially in initiative. You will have a couple of turns to do something before the enemy gets close enough to actually engage in combat. So you will be able to move yourselves in essentially this box of how you see fit. Position yourselves as you so wish. This will be your starting line. And when the horde essentially gets within combat range, they will be...
Yeah, Orphan, where do you want me to move you?
Right behind you.
KK played applause.
Yeah.
Hello, KK. Thank you for the lurk.
Did I hear KK? Hi, KK. Bye, KK.
Indeed.
So essentially, when they get past that line, they're going to be in your face, and you're going to be in full-blown combat. So, position yourselves as you see fit inside the box. You guys are going to have 2 to 3 rounds to essentially do what you need to do and attack as best you can. The way mob rules work is that you are attacking the mob, But the damage you do is going to determine how many casualties you create. So the mobs are going to have larger health pools because they are of an X number of units, but your damage is going to be calculated differently than normal, if that makes sense. But when they get close, they're going to have more attacks and lower bonuses.
Okay.
All right. So once you guys are positioned and you feel yourself ready to go ahead and start telling me what you'd like to do, or talk amongst yourselves about your plan. You can tell that you have essentially about 15 to 20 seconds before they're on top.
How deep is the trench?
The trenches are about 6 foot deep. They're pretty standard trenches.
Do we have to roll initiative?
Not yet.
Well, we're fighting.
This is you amongst yourselves. You get 2 rounds to basically do what you can to either slow them down or eliminate as much as you can before you go into full initiative.
Okay, well, so the range is how far I can project it from me. Like, it doesn't start with me. Like, we talked about this. I can put it that far away from me.
Unless it says self, you can project it as far as the range is, and then it tells you the size of the shape of the thing you're doing.
Okay. Well, I would like to cast Call Lightning at 5th level. I need a circle. A 60-foot radius.
Alright, let me get you your circle. Bunketh. You sure it's 60-foot radius? Does it say 60?
60-foot radius.
Cool. Alright, center it where you want it. And then once you center it, I need you to roll me your spell die.
I know, which is 5th level, so this is scary.
So you need to roll between a 5 and a 16. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Yep, you need to get below a 16 and above a 6. We should probably move a little further away from her.
Oh, you guys are outside of the radius. You're good. I made sure.
Unless you fail. So you need to roll between a 5 and a 16.
That's what I want it. And it's just a random...
It's just a regular D20.
Right?
Nothing added to it.
Where are you rolling it?
Owlbear.
Yes.
That's gonna let me.
Show me
Okay,
that failure.
Shut up! It's not letting me roll the damn D20.
Okay, then roll it in D&D Beyond.
I don't know how to do that on D&D Beyond. I've been using Owlbear for this.
D&D Beyond, bottom left-hand corner is a little die.
Never mind, I figured out the D20 on Owlbear. 16, exactly.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, fuck.
You need to roll between, not on.
I know. I thought I had this figured out.
Uh-oh. So now we need to see what happens. Percentage roll.
I didn't even press cash yet.
Uh-oh. So, you cast this spell. When you go to cast it, you see the fog and miasma has come across the trenches. You feel that your magic is unstable, but you're willing to risk doing as much damage as humanly possible before the enemy gets close. For a spell of this size, you had to put a lot of effort behind it. You had to really hone in on what allowed you to do. And with the sound of zapping across the wind, you release that spell into the ether. Unfortunately for you, it doubles in size.
Oh, fuck.
As the cloud you summon is no longer the small cloud, it becomes a massive thunderhead, crackling with energy and anger above you. as you release it, you feel the magic you spend burns all of your 5th level spell slots.
That was the only one I had anyways.
And you take a level of exhaustion to boot.
You shouldn't have said anything.
So now you find yourself slightly exhausted and this massive thunderhead overhead that you no longer feel like you are in control of.
Because I'm not. I hate this for me and everyone else.
So, I apologize. What's the spell do?
The spell, so Call Lightning is a 3rd level conjuration that brings forth a storm cloud that is 10 feet tall with a 60-foot radius, centered on a point you can see within range. When you cast the spell, you choose a point you can see under the cloud, and a bolt of lightning flashes down from the cloud to that point. Each creature within 5 feet of that point must make a dex save. A creature takes 3d10 lightning on a failed save or half on a successful one. On each of your turns until the spell ends, you can use your action to call down lightning in this way, targeting the same point or a different one. If you are outdoors in stormy conditions when you cast the spell gives you control over the existing storm instead of creating a new one. Under such conditions, the spell damage increases by 1d10. When you cast it at 4th level or higher, you add 1d10 damage to the lightning strikes. So it is doing 5d10 per bolt.
5d10.
We are now literally playing elemental lawn darts.
Yes.
Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically,
Because she no longer has control. I do. Which means I now have to go find my scatter die. Wait a moment, as I crawl underneath my desk to find it.
Couldn't you have just tried? Couldn't you have just tried talking to the fucking enemies instead of like doing actually anything?
I mean, look, you don't actually have to find it, you know, like...
I found it. Here it is.
This is probably the time you should have tried talking to
That was
them.
way
Like,
too
they're after
fast.
Zeus.
I could probably make it worse, honestly.
He was trying to be like, oh yeah, I gotta find it so hard, as he has a dedicated spot in his
I
desk.
knew where it
knew
was.
exactly
I just had to
where it
go
was.
find it where it was.
I didn't
Because
think
it
we could
tends
get
to
worse
move
than the
because of my
down
son.
there, and here we are.
I
And
would
I'm
have
gonna
rather you talk
have
to him.
my little dice tower. My small boy.
Am I trying to be useful? This happened.
Ah, yes. I like this dice tower for my scatter. Very good. Oh, I'm so excited for this. I don't think you understand.
I have to say, dice towers in person look stupid. Through the microphone, I'm really fucking nervous.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So, it gets a singular strike per action. So every turn, a bolt is going to come down. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by rolling the scatter die to see where the dot starts. Very good. And now I just need to have my distance of... We'll do 3d6. That sounds fun. So you guys can see that. So it moves 11 feet off the center. And I'm going to make a little prop for you guys to see. We're going to have a nice little proppy boy. A nice
Every step
little,
of this, my
little
blood
friend.
pressure's going up. I want you to know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I'm done trying to be useful.
We're going to
I am
use
no longer
the
trying to be
cleric
useful.
symbol as the first lightning bolt strike. So we're
I
going
just
to...
ate an adult cookie too, so just imagine my fucking paranoia right now.
Hey, catch up,
here
brother.
we go.
Catch up, brother.
Here we go.
Oh, these are homemade, bro, with fucking medical dispensary stuff. Yeah.
Man, I'm
sure I'm on your level.
Alright, hang on. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it, but that was the sound me pulling the cork out of the bottle of rum I keep on my desk. I'm
So-
having a blast for this.
So-
hold
So
on, wait,
I
got
went.
you there, too.
All right,
Hold
I'm
on,
gonna
first-
have all of
hold
you
on.
stop trying to show off to each other while your doom is happening in front of you. So
I'd rather-
I'm going to. So I'm going to show you as best I can off my little dice tower here. So my scatter die is a Warhammer 40k scatter die. it gives me a direction, and I roll the distance on Owlbear. So it moves to the northeast 11 feet. So I'm going to grab my little measure tool, my little chutzpah, and we're going to just a little dunkus. So for his first one, it's the ghouls mob and the gas need to roll dex saves. So we're going to grab my D20s. The ghast makes it. The ghoul mob saves it. And then we're going to roll that damage, which it just so happens it was getting quite nasty outside during this assault in the early morning. So it's 6d10.
Of course.
So the ghast and the ghouls both take 23 damage. So I'm going to label him as ghast 2. He's currently sitting at that. We have ghouls 3.
Before we do that, I need everyone in this Discord to do me a favor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just say hi, Foxy.
Hi,
Hi, Foxy.
Hi, Foxy.
Hi, Foxy.
Hello, Foxy.
Why, hello, Foxy.
Are you that? Do you happen to be that Foxy from Five Nights at Freddy's?
Jeez, fucking Christ.
Every day we stray further from God.
Every day we get closer.
I don't know about that.
Is there a god though?
I don't know. Zeus seems pretty pissed, and I didn't think he was real, so.
I think I just gave Zeus a run for his damn money.
No, that's funny.
The man murdered and ate his own father. I don't think your little lightning is gonna scare him.
I unwillingly put you all in danger.
You didn't willingly do it. You just
I
happened.
said unwillingly.
Oh yeah, unwillingly, of course, yes.
Girl, if this
It would
campaign
lightning to boot.
if this campaign is us fighting the gods, can the next one be us fighting Jesus?
No, that's
But it has
stupid.
to be metal. It has to be death metal Jesus.
No,
be
we,
death metal
we
Jesus.
can't fight Jesus. He wouldn't exist. It's imaginary. Unless
but
we're
so-
fighting Phantom.
But so is fucking Zeus, bro. But
You don't know that.
Now Zeus is pissing lightning at us.
This isn't even Zeus doing it. This is your
Aura
druid's
is
fault.
pissing lightning at us. Yeah, I was just saying. Aura's doing this.
Yes.
Laura says she's very sorry.
Just like a fucking Canadian with the sorry too.
You
like
may
the
not know
fucking
this.
Longo.
I actually have a sneak peek of what the next campaign will be like when we fight Jesus. I just put in the VC channel. It's
Oh, boy.
it's a spoiler.
Oh, it's a spoiler. Wonderful. So, Aura, you have done your thing.
Yeah, can I revoke my thing? I don't like my thing anymore.
That is the worst thing, Blackburn, you could have made my eyes see.
It's
and I hate
fucking
you
great.
for
What
it.
do you mean? It's fantastic.
It's pretty good, though. Alright, so... Aura, you did your thing. So, who wants to go next as you see this massive lightning storm open up overhead and just start sending bolts of hate downrange on top of the people in front of you?
I volunteer as tribute.
You're all going to get a chance to do something, so just...
So the lion person and the gnome want to go, so I'll let them go.
I was just gonna say, I no longer wish to have this explosive in my hand with lightning falling around me.
Yeah, Creed, how's that fucking jar feeling right now? Or that pot. Clay pot.
Rather heavy.
I am going to
Athletics.
throw the yes, thank you.
At this moment, she knew.
Ooh, that's a plus. Always blind. Oh shit, that's a 26.
Very good.
Oh shit.
So the eyeball is going to be where you want to throw it. You can throw it for about, I would say, a good 40 feet. You give it a good yuck. So go ahead and put it within a 40-foot distance of you of where you would like it to go.
If he rages, does he get double?
No.
I believe that was about 40 feet right there.
Very good.
Yeah, that was.
Did you hear the tower? Did fear
Yes.
be
We did hear
instilled
the
upon
tower.
you?
We
A
all heard
little
it. Yeah.
bit.
I just like the clicky clacks.
Yes, the clicky clacks.
So you throw it, and it goes. It flies through the wind. Did you remember the pull the pin is a question you ask yourself as you throw it.
You
can roll intelligence with advantage because Warfin is with you. I would imagine he would. I would imagine he would remind you before you throw it.
Right, that is a 11 with advantage.
So I will say that yes, you believed you pulled the pin when you went to throw it because you look down at your hand and you see that there's a metal ring around your finger and you breathe a sigh of relief as you see this giant metal softball soaring through the air, landing in the dirt between two of the hordes.
Oh, who's the lucky lioness?
That's stupid. Be quiet.
I am a father. I am allowed to make those jokes.
I know. I know. I don't do it, but it's fine. I do sometimes. I do make those stupid ass jokes. I am guilty. Guilty as can be. So you throw it and you see that it detonates with a pretty decent size up. It's not as big as it needs to be. It's spunkiff. So you heat it, you yuck it into the distance, and it detonates with a 15-foot radius, hitting both Horde 4 and Horde 5, who have to save on a dex save. The first one does not. The second one does.
Oh.
Now
Second
we get
one
to
just
roll.
Like Michael Jackson Thriller's out of the way.
I'm surprised the second one didn't just fucking like baseball bat it back at him. Like fucking hell.
Now we get to roll dabblage. Do you want to know what the damage die for that grenade was?
Honey.
Let's see it. Damn.
Oh my.
They're D12s. Haha. So you do 29 damage to Horde 4, and you deal half damage to Horde 5. So that's a I can't believe too much brain math. I need my calculator to tell me what's going on, just so I don't fuck it up.
I mean, you could just kill him and we'd be.
That'd
We
be
wouldn't
sick.
say anything.
No. How dare you even bring that forward? How dare?
Oh.
The audacity. And then Carly, with the
sorry.
1500 biddies, activates a curse I've been waiting to use.
Son of a fuck!
Hey,
Why?
Hang on a second. Hang on. Just because it's a curse doesn't mean it's bad for us. There's a slim chance.
There is a
Alright.
slim chance.
It's burned. What the fuck do you mean there's a slim chance?
I am trying to be
while I pull out my
optimistic
last
here. I have a
Slim
bomb on
Jim.
my back, and we're playing Magical Minefield, alright? I am trying to be optimistic.
Bro,
So-
I said I was walking out saying like, I'm off to death I go. What do you think this is happening, man?
So,
if the curse is bad, Aura volunteers as tribute.
So, the curse activates, and it is one of two. And so I'm going to need a volunteer to call heads or tails.
Tails.
Heads.
Alright, one person calls it
Oh.
high or low. So one person who wants to call it, speak up now.
Hi.
Alright,
Heads.
Jenna called high. It's low, which means that
God
Our
damn
dear
it, Jenna, have you
friends.
not cursed us enough?
so our dear friends Okros and Soph have this curse put upon them.
Are you fucking kidding me?
For the next 10 minutes, you two in character can only speak one word at a time.
Oh my god.
So if you wanted
Hold on,
to
hold on.
say, we
an
want
ad
to
break. Can we time
go
out?
kill, I'll go over it again once the ad break is done. But just so that Rexus and Bird are aware. So if you want to say, we want to go kill, one of you would have to start with the word we. The second would have to be want. Then it goes back to the first person to kill zombies. And it could change up how you see fit because you guys aren't going to be able to know what each other is thinking. You just have to finish each other's sentences.
I'm back.
So
this, whatever the fuck it is.
For Rage's chat, so they're aware, the curse has been put upon Rexus and Bird, who are playing Okros and Morphin. Is that they can only speak in one word, but they have to form sentences together. So if they wish to speak of, we want the food, Okros would have to say we, Bird would have to say want, Rexus would have to say the, and so on and so forth. So let's do a quick one. Rexus and Bird, I need you guys to tell me, we would like to fight the bartender.
We
Would
like
to
fight
the
bartender.
Very good.
The bark at the end was great.
Very good.
Apparently
Very
the
good.
dog does too.
So that is how it has to be for the next 10 minutes in roleplay, but you cannot talk about what you're trying to say. You can only just try and say it and do your best.
I have a question as to where
I may
you got
have an
this from.
answer.
Is this? Did you get this from Whose Line Is It Anyway? The three-headed singer.
Yes. I get a lot of my
Oh,
curses from
fucking do it,
improv
dude. It's
shows.
so good.
No, you. Oh,
Fucking love it. I'm only gonna be imagining that from now on. Just letting you know.
And now we have a lightning strike.
Yeah, so now you have lightning coming down. Okros and Warfin can only speak in one-word sentences for the next 10 minutes, or until I find it not funny anymore. And then the rest of you have zombies to deal with. So, Aura, Okros, and Morphin, you have all completed actions at this point in time. The rest of you have now a chance to do something.
Did Warfare?
I didn't actually. I don't think.
Oh, you didn't actually do something. Yeah, so go ahead and do something then.
So do I have to like do the one word thing with?
If
Right,
you
since I
want
wanna
to tell the
fireball?
rest of your party what you're doing, you need to do it. If you're talking about your somatic components for your spells, you do not.
Okay. Well, I want. Hold on.
may I ask a question? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
No, I was going to ask if you how long you were needed to look something up or not. That's all I was going to ask.
No, I know what I'm doing. I want to cast Fireball at a 4th level in between hordes 3 and 4. I don't have my computer in front of me, so I can't make a lot of
Okay.
this.
So go ahead and roll your spell die for me. The giant token is the fireball. Be quiet.
No, I'm waiting.
I'm waiting for it.
Spell die. Spell die. Spell die.
Technical difficulties. Hold on a second.
How dare? How dare?
about y'all
How
doing?
dare?
Table.
It's a 3. Well, while we're waiting, can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
You just said it was a
All right.
3.
You just said it was a 3? And he's casting a fireball at level 3?
I heard it was a 3. Am I hearing
No,
wrong?
he's muted. He didn't.
Okay.
Oh.
No, it was
he didn't
4.
say
I heard
anything.
it
Oh, it
was
was
a
a
3.
4?
Oh, I heard it was a 3 from someone.
Oh, my
Because-
question. So,
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. I can wait.
Oh, I was gonna say the 3 was Burn rolling it on Owlbear. That was the 3 that he rolled. That's what I was talking about. Sorry. Go ahead.
Ah. So was it a 3 or a 4?
Apparently, he hasn't rolled yet.
It was a level 4, but I haven't cast it yet because I'm having technical difficulties.
I mean, you can just say you cast it. You just need to roll the die. Or have someone roll it for you if you trust them.
Oh, I'd rather do
Not
it
me.
myself, honestly.
But while he's fighting his technical difficulties, So I drew two like really basic shapes with blue.
Yeah.
Which style? Which style trench is it?
It's more of the shallow trench on the right than it is
Okay.
like the deep trench
All
on the left.
Okay. So this is more of a fighting trench rather than like.
It's not like a pitfall trench. It's an actual like World War One fighting trench.
World War
Put it
One,
that
yeah,
way.
yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Well, I was thinking because if they have to physically pull themselves out, we just sit there and poke them in the face with swords. So that'd be pretty simple. But I was also hoping that, and clearly that's not the case. So.
So does that mean this is no man's land?
Sort of.
Lots of dead horses there.
I mean, the whole
no
thing's
horses.
essentially no man's land, but you know, it's another thing entirely. Uh-oh.
So I rolled a 19 on my spell.
Oh, fuck.
Oh yes.
Same, guys.
Oh yeah.
And
First, we get to do scatter roll. Yes. Yes. It doesn't change much, but it makes me feel good. Now we
It doesn't change
have
much, but it makes me feel better. You know what?
percentage roll of 31. So, what's the current spell radius on that fireball there, Mr. Bird? Is it 15-foot radius?
It is 20 foot.
20 foot. Very good. Very good. Very good.
I don't feel bad anymore.
Very good.
Yours is 120 feet. You should still feel bad.
Very good.
At least mine's up to chance. This is direct hit.
Very good.
Yours is also 6d10 worth of damage, so yeah.
I wouldn't be hanging on to your popcorn just yet. If I remember the damage on a level 4 fireball, it's nothing to shake a stick at.
It's 8d6 on a failed.
Yeah.
86 on a fail. Oh no.
Yeah.
What?
8d6. So
on a fail.
On a fail. So so on this point in time, Warfrin, you go to cast this spell. Something in the air is causing your magic to act strange, as you feel the magic pulled out of you in a single instant as you fire this fireball. In the beginning, it looks like it is going to connect normally and do what it normally does in the essence of you actually utilizing it. But as it goes to get closer to the target, it seems to swerve ever slightly, going just a few feet to the right. It starts to glow brighter and brighter, almost turning from a deep yellow and orange flame that is trademark of a fireball to something of a bright white inferno. And as it meets the ground and makes contact, it detonates, and it feels like it sucks the air out of your lungs as you stand close by. So, you see this fireball just ignite. It flash fries the dead trees and shrubbery that are in no man's land. It immediately melts and thaws the ground beneath it. And I'm going to need dex saves from Yuri, Aura, Okros, and Warfrin, along with my monsters.
That's the dexterity roll, right? Yes.
Yeah, dex save.
Not one.
Yeah, well, hang on a
Not
second.
fucking one.
Hang on.
Oh no.
I can help with this actually. Somewhat help. Or you get +2 your saving through. So, but you got a nat 1, so I can't help you with that.
So
I get
dex
3.
Dex saves a 14, and I got a 13.
I got a 21 in total.
So, out of the people who were affected, who got below a 14?
I did.
I did.
Alright. So 2 of you
Hang on,
got below
I
14.
gotta roll real quick.
Yuri, you got to do your thing.
I got an 18. I'm still gonna have a +9.
Yeah, so those who are above 14, you'll be taking half damage. We are now going to do...
Evasion, I ain't taking shit.
Stop talking all at once. Nez, yes, you can do Flash of Genius to one of them.
Hold on, or just ran a dex check, not a dex save.
Yeah, or it's a dex save. Dex save.
There's a box on your character sheet that says saving
Oh,
throws.
is there?
Yes.
I didn't know this. Where is it?
Top left,
Top
below
left.
your name.
Yeah. It says saving throws.
Bunch of like thin boxes
Should
with
be 6
dots.
of them. Should be 6 of them, 3 and 3.
I see him. I see him.
Yeah, this is the one that says dex. You click on that number.
And remember, add 2, because I can help you with that.
21.
All right, there you go. All right,
Holy
so
fuck.
Aura, you'll be taking half damage, which consequently makes it so you don't take double because you're a sea elf. Did you forget that little fact?
Wait, what?
You're a sea elf. You're vulnerable
Yeah, I
to
know.
fire damage, which means you take double damage from fire.
Oh!
For fuck's sake,
So,
thank God. Why
oh my
take
So
full?
you
almost
take
got turned into a crispy critter.
So you will take full because you dex saved it. It's because you're technically taking half, but then you're still taking your vulnerable damage.
Can I just say something real quick?
Yes.
You were fucking welcome. I just saved your ass on that one.
Yes,
I'm just
thank
saying.
you. Thank you for helping the newbie that doesn't know what she's doing.
All right. So.
Oh my goodness.
Nez, if you'd like to give Warfrin a flash of genius, you may.
Yes, I will, and that'll add 3 to his roll.
Wonderful. So the 4 PCs, you all save your rolls either due to your own effects or otherwise. I'm going to quickly do dex saves on the mobs, starting with Horde 2. That is a nice crit fail. Very good. Horde 3 also fails. Horde 4 fails it. Horde 5 fails it. Ghouls 3 fails it. Ghoul 2
Bro, what is that?
fails it. Gas 2 fails it. Gas 1 fails it. Ghoul 1s fail it. Barely.
Bro.
Barely.
So
Because it's a
what I'm
mob instead of an
hearing-
individual unit. So all of the enemies just failed their dex saves on it. So here comes the fun times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is a 9d6 because it's 4th level.
So I have to roll a d6 and multiply it by 9?
No, I have to roll 9 d6s, which is about to happen right now. So, all of you, minus Aura, will take 17 dabblage. Aura, you will take 34.
So I type in 34 and hit damage, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yes.
I don't like that number. I'm less than half now.
Yes. Big Sag.
Oh my god, you would have died. You were so fucking welcome I saved you. I'm just saying
I
it
would have
again.
fucking died. I would have
Fuck.
fucking died.
So, the front hordes, because they were near the epicenter, will take the vulnerable damage. So they'll be taking actually 68. So that is a lot off their person. I need to double check my new bears. So it'd be that minus that. Wonderful. So that is that. Da. And then they would be at
I'm going to start
that.
throwing my knives at them. I'm not using spells anymore.
Alright, so you see that you did a pretty significant chunk to the hordes in front of you. One of them is almost completely crispied. As for the ghouls towards the back, they're a little bit farther away, so they're only going to take the standard damage, which is going to be...
Oh.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-do-do-do-do-do. Ah,
Oh, it rained
why?
sensor for some reason.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. It was the voice mod being a turd.
Ow.
I don't know why it chose to do that. Apparently, it was very upset of me doing math.
Is the sound of my soul.
Sound of your soul dying. You should
I,
get that
Ray,
looked into.
I do owe you a massive fucking thank you for pointing that
Yeah,
out.
you owe me a fucking life, is what you owe me.
Alright, so I
But it's
have
okay.
updated all the damage of the creatures. You can see that Horde 1 and Horde 6 look like they are still doing okay. The ones towards the centers, all of them look very crispy. Horde 4 looks like it's basically been turned into charcoal briquettes. The ghouls in the back are definitely lower in number. Some have been turned into even grosser looking walking corpses. And one of the gas is missing most of his external parts from the flash of the fire. And yeah, so that's a whole thing. So Warfin, thank you for that. You
Thanks,
guys
Warfin.
basically had the heat and the sucking of air out of your lungs do some serious damage. And so now we've had Aura.
Did he create a thermobaric fireball?
Basically, so we had.
You're welcome.
We
He threw
had
a white dwarf. That's what he threw.
So we had Aura, Okros, and now Warfrin do their turns. So Nez, Yuri, Creed, and then Nameless. Who wants to go next?
I guess I'll go.
Sure. What you got?
Do I really want to fucking cast a spell now, though, is what I'm asking.
That is
So that's a question you could ask yourself.
Oh, I mean, it's only
We're
a
2
level
for
3.
2. We're 2 for 2 tonight. So,
let's just fucking do it. I'll cast Halo Thorns at a level 3.
Alright. Roll that spell die.
I don't wanna.
You do it.
Neither did I.
Do it.
Hey, let me take another
You
swig of
saved
rum.
it. You're fine.
Oh, we're
Holy
okay.
fuck.
It was close,
We're
though.
okay. Yeah, what, 4?
3.
Oh, 3? Yeah, okay. So question before I start.
Yeah.
So this is a mob, so with Hordebreaker, do I just attack the same horde?
You'd attack the same mob twice, essentially.
Okay.
Because
So-
you're essentially firing into a quote-unquote horde, so you'd be hitting another target that's in the mob, because when you do damage, you essentially kill off a piece of it.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Alright. And Horde 1 is full strength, right? And then
Horde
2
6.
is what?
Horde 6 and Horde 1 are full strength. The rest of them are looking not great. Horde 4 looks like it's basically one very burnt chicken nugget walking towards you.
Is there at least honey mustard sauce to go with it?
You don't know honey mustard
I'm
can
done.
mask the
I'm
taste
sorry.
of what's going
yeah,
on.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a shot with my hunting rifle at Horde 1.
Okie dokie.
With the Hail of Thorns. So do I gotta roll a hit, or am I? What am I
Yep,
rolling?
you're just basically rolling the hit. Their AC is a little different because it's a mob, but you're still rolling the hit as per normal.
27.
That lands.
Okay. Roll normal damage for that. We're at 12. Hail of Thorns damage. We're at 21. And then I'm going to use Horde Breaker to shoot Horde 1 again. 21.
That is a hit.
Alright. Dablage for that shot. We're at 11. And then Hail of Thorns again. We're at 15.
Alright, so with that final shot, you just see... All of you see
That's not
Nameless...
final, but okay.
The shot into the Horde. You see...
Yeah, it's not final. I'm just saying I have another attack as an action, that's all.
So you see Nameless fire off 2 shots into the Horde. The first shot lands in the front individual, taking the head off the shoulders with a hail of thorns rising up out of the ground and perforating a number of the zombies near it. The second shot rings out, doing the same as the thorns basically rip through what's left of the zombie horde, and they lay perforated and broken on the ground.
Oh, Horde 1 is dead.
Horde 1
Horde 1 gone?
is Dunsky.
Woo! That's why you didn't let me take the second shot. I appreciate you.
You did do your second shot. You shot twice with your rifle.
No, Horde Breaker.
Oh, yeah, your second salvo.
Yeah,
yes.
Perfect. Then I guess I will shoot at Horde 2 with my second shot.
Yep.
Rolling the hit. 21.
That's a hit.
Regular damage. 15. And then Hail of Thorns, you're at a 14.
Alright, so you definitely do some damage, but the horde is still shambling towards you.
And that is all I got for now.
Alright. So then we have Nez, Yuri, and Creed. Who wants to go next?
I'll leave the
I'm
floor
not-
open to those guys.
I'm not taking any actions before combat starts. I'm not running. Like, I could fire an Eldritch Blast out there, but I'm not rolling the risk.
You're like, no. No.
Frankly, I'm just not taking that fucking risk.
Oh, you're lame.
You know what? Fuck it. I do have a. I'll do a thing. I got a fucking bottle of oil in my inventory.
I'm not gonna cast any spells, but I'm gonna yeet this bottle of oil.
I'm finna yeet this Molotov, yeah.
He's gonna take off his shirt and pour the oil all over himself.
Question first, Yuri.
Yeah.
Is that a spell or a cantrip?
It's a whatever. It's a first level right chuck.
It's a
first level.
No, I meant your original plan.
What?
Eldritch
no,
Blast.
it's Eldritch Blast. It's just a cantrip.
That's a cantrip, yeah.
Cantrips don't need saving rolls, right? Or spell
Yeah.
rolls, right?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought
cantrips
they
are
did.
free.
I thought they did. Either way, it's fine. I'm still yeeting.
Well, cantrips are level 0, so there wouldn't be a check to start with.
I was gonna chuck this flask of oil at Horde 3.
All right, cool.
Just the oil, or are you gonna put a wall with a fire in it?
All right, so it flies towards your point. Go ahead and put a marker down of where you would want it to land, like your best case.
Let me see if I have markers. Oh, I don't have any props that aren't
just
exploded.
anything.
I'm trying to find something.
Just
I
go
need-
to the characters and
wham.
pull like
There.
Perfect, wonderful. All right, so that's where you want it to land. Yes,
Yeah, in the center of Horde 3.
that's where it lands.
Okay, fine.
Because that's scatter. So you throw it a little too hard. You overestimate the weight behind it, and it lands behind them. And how big was the flask?
It just has a flask.
I
don't know.
It doesn't say dimensions. That's funny.
Yeah, it literally
We'll
just
say
says
it's
flask.
a nice little 10-foot circle of gross. So there's a 10-foot circle of oily grossness behind Horde 3 that does cover some of them, but just not as much as you hoped.
That is okay.
Looks like from the actual books, it's about the size of a canteen.
Yeah, it's 10-foot diameter would be about right. All right, cool beans. So, what else you got?
Does it?
That's it. All right. You're doing the one hyuk,
I'm just doing I'm just chucking the
hyuk
fucking
at
thing.
level 0.
Yep,
Just
I'm gonna
cantrip.
cast a level. I'm gonna cast a level 0 yeet.
Very good. The timed and true classic, the yeet. All right, so Nez, you want to go next, followed by Creed.
For the Force.
So, I definitely want to try out this hand motor. It's
All
bringing me back to the days of childhood of a Roman candle in my hand.
Oh God! All right, so go ahead and pick your target, And
Holy sounds more like a
roll.
$300 mortar. Just saying.
So you guys see Nez, as he primes himself, pulls out this hand mortar. It looks like a musket that has been cut down to size with a large metal cup on the end. You see him prime the hammer, load the powder and the cap that goes on top, along with lighting a little bit of the actual wax cord to ignite his powder. He primes everything, and he pulls out one of these metal balls, lights the fuse on it that seems to be about 3 feet long to give him time to aim, shoves it into the cup, shoulders it, picks a target, and fires, and then he rolls the hit.
It's just a D20, right?
Yep. It's a firearms proficient thing. It should be an item you should actually be able to add. So it should be... So even if you're not proficient in it...
17 with just a base.
Yeah, so what's your dex? Your dexy?
My dex is 13, so a +1.
Alright, so you'd have an 18, which means that you'll scatter only 1d6. And you only scatter 1 foot, and it stays on target regardless. So what horde were you hitting with it?
I was going to hit 3 where he Yuri threw the oil.
Very good, very good. So you landed. Your first time shouldering this hand mortar, you landed, and it hits the dirt behind the horde as they kind of turn and go, "Ugh," as you see the fuse start to cook down as one of them turns and looks at it, goes, "Bleh," as you hear a detonation from the dirt. It's just, poof, as I need to give them a dex save, which the rest of them kind of soak, but that first guy just eats it. So that's going to be some damage.
They all got his warning of...
Yeah, they got... as they got detonated immediately.
Zombie 1 tries to eat it.
Yeah, just, oh man, what's this thing? And it's just like, bleh, explosion.
Is this tasty? No. Oh.
Hey, the flavor exploded on his tongue.
The flavor was explosive.
Flavor explosion.
I guess you
Hate.
could say it blew him away, yeah.
So we have Creed left, I
So
think.
your hand mortar would actually be a +5, so you would still only scatter the 1d6. And it does, I added it to your sheet, and it does 2d8 +1 fire damage. If you'd roll that damage for me, good sir.
Let me refresh my sheet real quick, just so I see it.
You're killing me.
Oakroast does not have a character sheet, apparently.
No, he does not. It's on a sheet that Rexus has. That's just a placeholder, so he knows that we know he exists.
We would be at 8.
Be at 8. Nice.
There's a reason I bring that up. I need to find out a scale of egg to cinder block what people are like.
From egg to cinder block?
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. So, you see this round detonate, and you see 3 bodies fly off into the air and then plop onto the ground as the rest of the horde goes, "Ugh," as they keep walking towards you. As the oil catches fire, and you just smell smoking bodies behind the horde as it continues to march forward.
Delicious.
Very, very delicious. Creed. You see everyone trying to pull their skills out to try and make a dent in this army that is approaching you. You've seen a couple of mishaps from your spellcasters. You've seen some intuitive ideas from your other party members. And you stand there with 2 large clay pots full of black powder on your back in the middle of a lightning storm. What do you do?
I actually have... I have a good idea, and I have a really dumb idea. I'm going to do both of them.
Which one caused you to see how far away I was from you?
No. So there's reason for this. Cree will take a step forward, and he'll put his hand or his shoulder and say, "May Leandros protect you." And he is going to cast a touch spell.
Uh-huh.
Protection from energy.
Uh-huh.
And he's going to protect her from lightning.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I feel like that's a good idea.
Yeah. It gives her resistance against lightning damage. It's very smart.
I'm half dead, so yeah.
Especially since she's sea elf and is slightly conductive.
Now, for the dumb idea. Creed's gonna fight a very. He does not have his sword out. He is gonna do a little bit of a run.
We're not allowed to
All
cross
right.
the line.
Roll me athletics.
He's gonna face plant directly into the trench.
I mean,
I got a total of 10.
So that is enough for you to, as you've run through trenches before in your time as a soldier, you definitely know your way around running through trenches. And so you're able to make the distance. And how far are you moving?
How far am I allowed to go?
So if you're running for your full action, it would be 60 feet. If you're running for just normal movement, it would be 30.
Alright, well, he took 5, so that would be 55. Correct. Because he started... I don't know, where's the pointer? He started here. He had to move forward.
Yeah,
so it'd be 55.
Yes.
Am I allowed to call out something as I run?
Of course.
Nameless! Wait for the moment! And he's just gonna fucking book it through all the way to the back.
Jesus Christ. So you're running basically all the way to this horde here.
Yes.
Alright, move your character up, please.
So, I should point out that with the Balefield shield out, my AC is 30. So, I'm not...
AC is 30?
Yes, 30. 30.
Damn, son.
Now, what you don't know is that Baleful Shield, the AC drops over time. So the 30 is how it starts. It doesn't stay that way.
Well, you know, that's a problem for future Creed. Current Creed has an idea.
Mhm.
Creed's gonna do something stupid as shit.
For those of you who don't know, or just it was never really brought up, the Baleful Shield that Creed carries, I'll put the token on the map so you can see what it looks like. It is a piece of the backplating made of this monster, known as Old One Eye, which this is the size of his token.
My boy.
It's a piece of his back armor, is what that shield is made of.
I want to pet it.
You do not want to.
You do not. Yeah, no.
I blew it up
No
with
one.
6 sticks of C4.
It looks like a lizard, though.
It is a lizard, a danger lizard.
A danger lizard
wanna
that gives
pet it.
danger hugs.
Let's see what Creed's about to do, guys.
Alright,
Yeah,
so Creed, you run forward, you yell to Nameless, wait for the moment as you have your shield in both your hands so you can run effectively with it, your sword at your hip. What do you do?
Well, hang on, the clay pot, so I can't do that. You know, so, like I try to slide down, but I realize that shatters the pots on my back, so that's not gonna work.
So you do have them attached to your bag, so you could, as essentially a bonus action, throw your bag off your shoulders and throw it into the horde if that's what you're planning to do. But it would
like that.
sacrifice everything that is in your backpack.
I thought he was going to throw it in the air and have Nameless shoot it.
What do I have? I realized the most important thing in there. I'm gonna lose my playing cards. Fuck. I don't know if it's worth it. But no, there's nothing in there that he can't replace. There is a lot of food, but I mean the ration bar, so no one cares. So yeah,
They're corpse starch. It sucks. Just throw it away.
He's just gonna. Yeah, I guess he'll yeet it.
All right, give me one more athletics at advantage. You're using momentum. Nameless, you see him run. You know exactly what his plan is. It's with advantage, Creed. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. I got a 24.
There you go.
I was hyping myself up in the case that sucked too.
Nameless, you watch Creed run.
And at that point, when I hear him yell that to me, I would like to load one of the red tip rounds.
Of course. As you are reloading your inner magazine, after firing your rounds at the zombies, you see Creed take off like a bat out of hell. You hear him call out to you. You pull out one of the 10 red tip rounds. You whisper to yourself, "This better fucking work." As you load it into your rifle, you close the bolt and you wait in position for what Creed may do. At this point, improvising what exactly the plan is. As you see Creed run through the burned zombie hordes that are in front of him, shoulder checking one of the burnt chicken nuggets of a zombie as he keeps going towards the ghouls in the back, the trolls bringing up the rear and gaining ground. As he breaks one of the straps off his bag, as he slides down the clay pot still stuck to the back of it. Dropping to a slide, he brings up the shield that he was carrying, bracing on his one arm, and throws the pots into the air. And at this point in time, Nameless, you see that you have one shot to make it count.
No pressure.
Now, you can do one of two things. You can roll normally and hope for the best, or roll me emphasis.
What was the emphasis again? Sorry.
You roll 2 d20s, and whichever one is farthest away from 10, or 11 in this case, that's the actual middle number, is the result. If it's above 11, good things happen. If it's below 11, bad things happen. You either succeed gracefully with much gusto, or you fail miserably with much shame.
Please don't shoot me in the back of the head.
The worst part about it is this would totally be an emphasis roll if you weren't being nice. Oh. Do I keep it canon or do I go GT? Let's keep it canon. I'll roll emphasis.
All right. Roll that die.
So I'm rolling 2?
Yep.
That's 16
Very
and a
nice.
17.
Very nice.
Bit.
You brace
that
yourself.
Came through, didn't it? Please tell me it is. I practiced that shit for fucking ever.
That was very nice. Very nice.
Awesome.
You brace yourself in the dirt as you see Creed's plan start turning into fruition. You aim your rifle, the round loaded, the moments beating away. You see the pots on the bag get thrown into the air. You're just in your head saying, "Creed, pull up your shield. Creed, pull up your shield," as you're watching the bag start to make its arc, waiting for that one shot, but waiting until Creed is at least safe behind something. The last thing you say before you pull the trigger is a line that you remembered from the tabaxi that trained you and the other ratlings, the other snipers of the resistance, is make your moment perfect. And you hear your heartbeat. You hear it flow into your ears as you are waiting. And you fire that one shot.
Your moment. Perfect.
You pull the trigger as the round leaves the muzzle. It crosses the battlefield in an instant. The round screaming. As it leaves the muzzle, it seems to leave behind almost a trail of sparks as something ignites in the actual bullet itself. It almost seems to scream like a bolt of fire across the air as the zombies turn as your rifle report catches their attention. They look at you as the round passes over their heads like a flash of lightning. And it strikes the pots that Creed has thrown over his head, taking cover behind his shield. And the round hits it. Whatever was inside that bullet bursts on impact a spray of sparks and white-hot flame exiting from the casing it's made of. And in an instant, the black powder catches. And you see this massive detonation take place. As 30 pounds of black powder go off at once.
My heart stopped there for a second.
Oh, emphasis roll was so worth it. My God. Sorry.
That's pretty good. Not gonna lie.
That's pretty fucking good, dude.
Damage
It was nice that
roll.
both were above.
69. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
So, you see the round go off. You see the pots explode. Behind the shield, Creed, you find that you take just the shockwave of the hit. As in an instant you were thrown into the dirt, your shield saving you from most of the damage. You take only 14 kinetic damage, or force in this case, as you were thrown into the dirt, your shield hitting you as it goes down. The rest of the area around you is just covered in decimation. You just hear something along the lines of just, as the woods are ripped up off the trenches, the land cleared, dust thrown, the snow that was falling cleared, even the rain that had been falling from the cloud that was brought forth by Aura is split for a moment. And you simply see the hordes that were closing in just get shredded as body parts start to fly towards you from just the kinetic force, as each of them falls just from the kinetic blast itself. You see 2 of the groups of ghouls are evaporated. The middle one is significantly injured. One of the ghasts is gone, the other one covered in pieces of clay pot that dig into its flesh. One of the groups of trolls, though they stood strong, were near the epicenter of the blast itself. Being taller, they took the full force, and their bodies could not handle it and were thrown into the ground and decimated. The other 2 troll groups seem still standing, only losing 1 or 2 of their members from the blast itself, still moving ever closer towards the wall. And the sound of the dead goes silent for a moment, as everything comes to a standstill. It's just the noise stops. You feel in danger. You feel panic as the noise no longer fills your ears. But you also don't see Creed.
I would like to do something at this point.
Go for it.
So I want to cast Zophier Strike and use my ability to, like, what, quadruple my walking speed so I could run out to where Creed was. My feline agility, sorry.
Yes. Yeah, you do it, and you zoot yourself out that direction. You get yourself as close as you can, as quickly as you can, as you see the dust start to settle, as all of you are still finding yourself in shock of just what happened.
And I start digging through the rubble of where I think Creed is. Creed, tell me you're not dead. Tell me you got out. Tell me you pulled your shield.
You keep digging and digging and digging of where you believed he was. The rest of you easily pick off the smaller hordes around you. As everything comes to pass, you hear the gate open behind you. As Leandros and a number of other soldiers come out of the tomb and begin helping you with the situation at hand. A number of sword clashes comes out as they rush from the tomb itself into the fray. The bodies throwing themselves against the undead of not just those that were in front of you, but others that were trying to come around the side and flank you. The trolls are fallen, the zombies are killed, and you find yourself in the center of no man's land among the chaos of the battle as everything is swept up and you are all in shock as the storm cloud starts to dissipate. The burned land still smolders, and a crater now exists where Creed once was. Desolation falls across you. A quiet sound just over the edge of how everything stands. And so the question becomes, what do you do as you see Nameless run forward and begin to dig through the rubble, looking for your comrade and hoping for the very best?
Aura also runs forward and helps dig, if I can.
I don't know if you've got enough movement, but
What is my movement? It tells me somewhere.
It should be 30. You're not anything special. Like, you're not, like, short, tall, or weird, lanky limbs.
My speed is 30, I think?
Yep, that's default for mediums.
Yeah. So can I make it to Creed? I don't have to, like, run if I can't.
I mean, you can run. At this point, you're not necessarily in combat. The only things that are really still facing you is a significantly wounded Ghast and a few ghouls who still seem too shell-shocked to do anything.
Okay, I would like to run and help Nameless dig.
You do so.
Do I roll athletics?
You can.
25.
has enough movement to get up there too.
Sorry, is my voice back? I didn't know.
Yeah, your
that
voice is back.
It's back now.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So, Okros and Aura, you meet up with Nameless as he's digging through the rubble. You all continue doing the same. Yuri, you pull up the rear as you bring Nez and Warfarin with you, as you all go to make sure that they're okay, but also to make sure that you help out where is necessary. As they continue to dig, Yuri, you and Nez and Warfarin see that a few of the ghouls start to gain a sense of awareness to where they are, seeing the three heroes trying to dig out their compatriot. What do you do about that?
I'm gonna fire Eldritch Blast at this one.
Alright, so you rolled a hit on that.
2 blast. Do I roll for both blasts?
Yes, they're 2 independent blasts.
22, 23.
Yep, you hit twice, and you simply turn Ghast 1 into a flattened pile of goo on the rubble as you push the ceramic pieces deeper into its body and you kill it. The other ghouls seem to be gaining sentience. Nez, you see them start to shamble towards Aura, Nameless, and Okros as they are not able to pay attention to the ghouls that are shambling towards them.
And I will bring out my Molotov launcher.
Very good.
At 3rd level.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be, it's what? Maybe because spell. Create 1 additional ray. So that will be 4 rays.
Yep, so
Right.
just roll it 4
Yes.
times for 4 different hits.
So 16, 17, 21 and an 18.
Okros, as you look up, you see one of the ghouls starting to shamble closer to you, reaching out with a decrepit clawed hand. And as it does, you see it just get hit square in the jaw with this weighted projectile that immediately ignites it into flame as it falls to the ground screaming. The rest of the ghouls in its grouping that seem to also be moving towards you as the shell shock was wearing off are all hit with the same effect as you see Nez 40 or so feet from you with his large launcher on his shoulder and a smile across his masked face.
Quick question: what beasts have we seen? I can't remember.
You've seen a bear and other normal fauna. You've seen a troll. You've seen a dragon. Other than that, you've seen like other regular creatures that you'd normally run into. You haven't seen anything like super interesting minus the zombie bear.
Can bears dig?
Yes. Well, mind you.
Terrifyingly well for a creature their size.
Yeah.
How does one wild shape?
You just say
you're doing it, and you tell me what creature you're turning into.
I would like to wild shape into a bear, please.
Alright, you wild shape into a bear. You do the thing, and I will give you this image of a brown bear to represent you as a brown bear now.
You don't like communicate their groans.
Or would like to talk as the bear.
She does get to talk as the bear.
He's got to sound like Yogi.
It does not need to sound like Yogi.
Hey, Poji! Let us go find the creed.
I did this so I could dig faster, you guys. I'm 4
Look
now.
over at Aura. Look over at Aura. Why are you angry?
Oh my god! I just look at you and shake my head knowing I full well deserve that as I keep digging.
Nice callback. So, you guys continue digging, and you are all putting your full force behind it as the rest of the party has been covering your back from the leftovers that seem to be moving through no man's land. As Leandros and his raiding party have come out and swept the flanks, pushing back whatever dead have come across, you find, underneath the rubble, a body. It's face down and is covered in ash and soot.
Aura would like to smack it with her paw, making sure he's alive.
That's ludicrous.
Gently, I don't
So
wallop.
you boop it to see if it's alive, and as you boop it, you knock some of the ash off. And Nameless, give me an investigation. As you just are looking over because it seems odd.
That'd be a 22.
You realize that it is not Creed's body, as Creed is red, and this creature is a dark gray. As it seems to kind of come to life and continue clawing at something underneath of it, as it's still growling the word Zeus.
Can I rip its head off with...
I was going to say I'd like to smack it with my...
That escalated rather quickly.
I mean, as Aura is a bear and Okush, you're trying to help Nameless dig, Aura just simply grabs it by the neck with her jaws and just like yeets it out of the way. And so you just see this ghoul just get thrown and does like that weird windmill spin through the air. Just the as it just goes a good 50 meters or so and just lands in the dirt with a thump. With a
It turned into a Huey?
Basically, it looked like Huey propellers as it got thrown across the air of how fast it was spinning.
Sorry, that's all I can think of.
And you just heard a deep thump as it just hit the ground and made a nice little plume of dust. And underneath where that ghoul was, you see the familiar colors of Creed's shield. And as you continue to dig, you begin to hear Creed calling out from underneath of it.
Aura would like to dig faster.
There you are. We've almost got you out now.
Oh, thank God you're still alive. I thought I killed you.
The shield comes off. Wonderful! Did you see that? That was wonderful.
Creed, see it, and I shot it.
I love how not
I didn't quite see it. I felt it, but it must have been impressive.
Creed, you poke your head up out of the hole they're digging you out of as they have pulled the shield back off of you, realizing the weight of this object you carry. And you see that you're at least 3 feet down into the dirt. And as you sit up and you look around, you see that you're in the middle of a crater, essentially.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, Creed, do I have a picture to paint you?
How long do I have to stay a bear?
As long as you want, or up to an hour, whichever comes first.
I would like to wild shape back into my damn self now that we've got Creed.
You do it.
Is Nez around here?
And I have to check off one of my wild shape boxes, right?
Yes.
I must give him some feedback. And he's like,
I walked up for this.
I suspect there was a bit too much.
You turn your head to see that Nez is standing near Yuri as they're standing back away from you guys, as he has his large Molotov launcher on his shoulder and walks towards you.
Creed's gonna like throw his arms up in the air. Yes, that was wonderful. Too much, but wonderful.
Or spitting bear fur out of her mouth after wild shaping back.
So, Creed, too much, or should I put more in next time?
I would recommend the amount should suffice, but not quite so much at once.
I would like to take credit for the pots.
It was just a bit much at once. Well, hang on. We may
So maybe smaller.
I gotta pull up the poster. It's we may not have changed the battle, but we certainly changed the topography.
I can fill it with water and we can go swimming.
I would rather not.
I think he's dealt with enough action for one day, Aura.
Fine.
Oh.
I'm happy you made good use of the explosives.
I must admit, not quite how I saw the plan going, but it worked out in the end.
They're dead, aren't they?
That was part of the plan.
Just so you know, guys, next time I'm gonna try and talk to him again, because clearly I cannot use my magic.
I would not recommend that.
What would you recommend I do then, Creed? Because clearly I can't use my magic either.
But it's rather obvious. It was my initial plan. Should just kill them.
I almost killed you guys instead.
Well, be more accurate.
Aura turns and looks at Warfin. At least I didn't set anyone on fire, though.
Sorry, I did screw up the quote. As gentlemen, we may not make history tomorrow, but we will certainly change the geography.
Very good.
Like it. It's still good.
It's still good. I'm still here for it.
If you could do me a favor, help me up.
Bird is making his way back, maybe, but it's fine.
Okay,
So you guys, yeah.
Turn and look at Warfin and be like, at least I didn't set anyone on fire, though.
The gnome simply shrugs.
Bro snips a little and goes, go for a little bit of grilled fish right now for some reason.
Or huffs and stalks away.
Very good.
I feel like Creed will like lean over towards Okros. I'm sorry to tell you, but I fear Nez might be the better chef. Oh, rather well done and seasoned. And they'll just start walking
Creed.
back towards the keep.
Creed, you just have to do one thing for me next time.
Hmm?
Give me your nod or a wink or something before you do that.
But you see, there's a simple solution to that. Something I was told in the glass keep, and it's still true. If I don't know what I'm doing, the enemy can't.
Just luckily I did this time.
Well, it worked out for the best. See?
It worked out in the end.
And give you like the open mouth smile, the thumbs up.
As you are pulled out of your hole, the party's kind of standing around you as you are pulled up and dusted off. Your things given back to you with your shield and making sure your sword's on your hip. Leandros and his raiders walk over to you, having dealt with the remnants of the dead that had come home. And he walks through the wreckage and carnage you created to try and have a last line of defense. He walks towards the hole you were just pulled out of, sees your shield being held by Okros, and sees the shape of the hole, and just kind of pinches the bridge of his nose. And just... Well, I imagine you followed my orders to some extent. You held the line. Would you care to explain the crater?
Well, I told you what the plan was, and I followed through with the plan.
He holds up his hand to say something, and the finger kind of comes down, his mouth still kind of open, and it kind of closes. He goes, yeah, yes, you did, Creed. Yes, you did. Well, it looks like we sweeped up what was here, and it looks like that will be good for now. I will send a raven to bring back those that escaped to safer grounds to head on back, that we should be good here. Now, I noticed something when fighting these creatures. They seem to be growling some kind of word. Did any of you catch it during your assault?
Yeah, they were saying
Moves.
I have a rather sneaking suspicion, but you're not going to like it.
Well, let's go back to the war room and discuss, all of us. I would like to understand what you saw, because I think I also have an inkling of what may have occurred, but I don't like my idea much either. And so he leads you all back into the Keeper's Tomb towards the war room where you started. You all set your gear down to the most part so you can sit around the table as Leandros puts up his sword and shield and sits down in front of you and goes, okay, so we believe these monsters were saying the word Zeus, correct?
Yes.
What ideas do we have of why they were saying that name specifically?
We think they were maybe hunting for Zeus and taking anybody they could on the way there. That's just my inference and what my fellow compatriots discussed.
But why this direction? And he sits there kind of grabbing his chin. He goes, we're on the far eastern side of the continent, of the region, to be more specific. We're not exactly in a strategic position, nor are we in a position that would be of importance. Even New Haven has been finding itself relatively abandoned, unless... No. That doesn't make sense. He quickly stands up, picks up a spyglass, and looks outward to the west. You see a bit of panic in his step as he does so. as he just seems to be muttering to himself. And goes, Of course that's what they wanted. How could I have not seen it? And he just stands out the window with the spyglass, looking across the horizon for something.
What would I have to roll to figure out what he's looking at?
Intelligence.
I would like to roll intelligence, please.
Do so. Be an intelligence check, please.
2. Oh, 8. Sorry, that's a 7.
I was...
8.
Wait a second.
These numbers keep going up.
So, with an 8, you can't quite put together... You can see that he is panicky, but you can't really put together why. You're still thinking about the fact that you just killed a bunch of zombies and undead. Like, you saved the tomb. Why is he still...
And I'm in pain.
Anxious. And you're in pain, yes. You're still exhausted, not feeling exactly 100%. Anyone else want to give a go for it?
I got an 11.
An 11?
I would like to take a guess in character.
Sure. Take a guess in character, Mr. Creed.
I'm going to guess you're sin of a god.
I don't think I see another god. I think they saw us. What was that strategy you taught our forces before your disappearance, Creed? That one strategy that was taught by your friend Cactus.
Out of character, I have no clue.
Recon by fire?
Oh, well, I believe the only response I can think of would be, well, shit.
May I ask who the god is that has seen us?
Oh no, it's much. I would consider it actually worse.
Creed, who were the people that you taught this strategy to, besides of the others that you've been around, besides our own military and myself? Who else was with you during your journey before you finally made it to Ravenholm? Who would have known this strategy?
I knew we should have killed him. I always get his title wrong. It's Kingslayer, isn't it?
You know the Kingslayer got turned into goo before you got brought to this world. You remember watching the Kingslayer get evaporated by Zeus before Bill pulled you out of the spire before it exploded.
Okay, all right. That was my well. No.
I don't think it's him, Creed. From what you've told me before is that he was dead before you came back. Who else was with you before you came to Ravenholm? Who was at the spire?
Oh,
not the one in High Charity.
That'd be Mark. That'd be Max, wasn't it? No, that's before. No, I'm actually trying to figure this out now. Hang on. All right, so I'm saying this out of character. I'm not saying this out of character. So Max, technically, he was dead before he went to Ravenholm. Technically.
So before you went to Ravenholm, yes, but he was with you for your first half of your journey, and he learned a lot from you and Cactus and Nate.
Why did you have to use actual military tactics here, Cactus? This is all your fault.
Everything is my fault.
This is actually your fault for once. It's not just me blaming you. Like, this is legitimately your problem.
I'm too high for this.
Oh,
I'm too high for this.
Ditto.
He's back. He's back. I knew he was back. appears he's using what I taught him. That's a problem. Certainly that's a
Creed,
problem.
Creed,
still be recruited,
who is Max?
Oh, you might know him by another title. And Creed's gonna like awkwardly scratch the side of his face.
So before you can finish your sentence, you're trying to tell him this. You're like, oh God, oh no. And you hear a thunderous boom outside as a strike of lightning flashes, and what once was there was nothing. Now stands the silhouette of a singular person in the field that you were just fighting. And you hear a voice come from it. My title was the Undying King.
I was going to say that.
Creed, my dear compatriot, my brother in arms, I've come to welcome you home.
Creed's gonna like make eye contact with him. Hold your thought. I'll be back. He's gonna go on out.
While they're talking, I would like Aura lays down on the floor because she's straight up just exhausted.
Aura's out. The rest of you see Creed walk out of the war room and back towards the front gate where you just were.
I like walk past. I highly suspect he won't kill me. Highly suspect it. He's gonna go on outside.
All right. So you walk towards the front gate. Anyone who wishes to follow may, but you believe that you shouldn't go past the front gate. They should simply stand in the entrance in case anything goes bad.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Sure.
Can Lucifer still be like just chilling outside the front gate?
Yeah, he's just standing guard at the gate. He's doing cool
Who the hell
turret
is
shit.
the turret?
He's just in there vibing.
He's just doing fucking turret vibe shit, you know?
I'm KO'd on the ground, so I don't follow.
You're just asleep. You're chilling.
Imagine just being able to process your emotions for like 5 minutes. That'd be wild.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, I'm half dead.
Oh, I too was once upon a time. Hello, Max.
Nice girl may have went haywire, but at least nobody was harmed.
I must admit, you've looked better.
Creed. It's been too long since I've seen you last. You seem in good health. You seem to be of well intentions. And I'm surprised you didn't wait outside, as you should have known that the only other person that would do what you taught was someone who followed with you and understood what you taught. The crater was a nice touch. Really told me where you were.
I was taught, growing up, to be polite, and I figured might as well let you know where I was. But I must admit, I anticipated you arriving later. I was planning to head inside, get maybe a nice tray set up for snacks, maybe something to drink. Get got chairs, relax, catch up like old friends before we try to kill each other.
I'm not here to kill you, Creed. That was never my intention. My intention was simply to find where you've gone, because I needed to tell you of what's to come, or what is currently on the horizon. You've been back for a few weeks. I was there with Bill when you were pulled from the old world and brought to the new to this world of mischances and unforeseen consequences. I was brought back to this physical manifestation against my will. I know who did it. I know why. But they believe them to be more powerful than the one who put them in the box the first time. So I'm using what energy I have left before whatever coercion or spell they try to push turns me against you. I would rather not do that. You need, at some point, get back to High Charity. You need to take back this region before one of the others decides to do it for you. There's waves being formed among the gods. Strife, infighting, issues have all started coming to light on what exactly of who rules what, who goes where. Thanks to your actions before the Fallen Spire, there's fewer of them, which means that the strife for land, for conquering, has increased. But there's one factor that remains a thorn in our side, and that's the prophet. Your unfinished business. The prophet stays within High Charity. He sits upon his tower rebuilt from the fractured remains of what was destroyed. He works on something that will bring down pain and terror upon you, your compatriots, and your resistance. I, unfortunately, cannot help. All I can do is give you this understanding of what is to come. If anything tells me is that you are still dealing with the idea of that magic is unstable here. That is true. There are too many gods causing too much turbulence, causing too many waves in the energy that flows, that those who wish to use it tend to wind up exploding. I can give you the locations of a few places that should stabilize your magics, make it a little easier to use them in your fight against an army of such large scale. But I bring you this warning because I owe it to you, as a mentor, as the original watcher of Pandora's box, to make sure that nothing that escapes it harms those that it's not meant to. You hold the sword that was used to steal them the first time. Use it again. Force them back into the box. But first, if you retake this region, if you retake Ravenholm, you'll at least get an edge on the enemies that you may face. Then you should march on High Charity and kill the prophet for the final time, while Zeus is distracted by the infighting on the western shores. Do this before I lose myself and we find ourselves against each other once again, against my better wishes. The last thing I say is a name that you should keep inside your mind for the coming months, as he's the one that has been pulling the strings. I need you to watch out for... And you see him start to convulse as he grabs his head, and you hear him just grunt and scream as something seems to be writhing through his mind. And he just continues to grunt and scream, pushing back, gritting teeth as he's trying to tell you one last word. And you finally hear it as he forces it out at the last moment. Creed! Hades! As he, much like he arrived, a flash of light and he's gone once again. The broken spire in the far southwest, as you can see from your region, the beam of light fluctuates and twists and warps for a few moments before returning to normal. The air grows quiet as what you prepared yourself for was not what you found, but you feel as if something bigger now comes across the horizon as you now stand upon the idea of the true understanding of fear. What do you do, Creed?
Creed's just gonna face in the direction of the broken spire. And he's just gonna give a slow wave. He's gonna walk right back up. And nothing happened. And he'd be like, well, goodish news and bad news. Goodish news is Max is somewhat sane. But not for all. The very bad news. We have to hope one brother hates the other more than he hates us. This is going to suck. But this is the world we live in. These are the hands we're given. So use them and let's start trying to make it a place worth living in. I need to brief Leandros. This... Yeah.
You all see Creed step past you quite quickly and quite lightly. As he passes all of you as you stand in the gate, you are at worst hoping that nothing would happen, and that if Max did happen to come to blows, that you'd be able to step in. With nothing having occurred, you follow Creed back to the war room, where he simply...
Someone will have to carry me.
Well, you're still in there. You're doing a snooze.
Oh, okay. Okay. I wasn't sure if I'd left.
You slightly awaken to everyone re-entering the war room as Leandra simply asks Creed, well, what did he want?
He's infected.
What did I miss?
And we have to... We'll eventually have to go back to High Charity. One of the prophets still lives. He's working on a doomsday weapon. And the gods are starting to fight.
And so, this
Like
Max
fighting
character, this Undying King, sent this horde at us to find out if you were here.
I guess you could call it a message. I suppose you could call it that. Yes.
You killed him, right, Creed?
No. We talked. And then he left.
Oh, so now talk. Now we're allowed to talk.
But he was civil.
Fair until you stabbed him.
I didn't... Oh, I did try to stab him, but the circumstances were different.
Whatever you say.
I've never seen the bear script get so flipped.
Yes, I did try to kill him. He tried to kill me, but we're friends. Except for the whole
You're
reanimation
friends with the
thing.
man who tried to kill us. He sent a horde.
There's
one horde.
a good friend is someone you could spend most of the morning trying to kill. In the afternoon, you can sit down and have a pint with.
Well, I would like to point out he's your friend, not my friend, and he tried to kill me too, so...
He didn't try to kill you, the undead did.
But he sent the undead.
Well, yes, but anyways. Leandros, he is sort of there. Whatever ick infected him, it's doing some work. He did give us a name, which, if I remember what Cactus told me, is whatever Zeus. Hades is his name?
He said that name. Hades? Yes. Well, it seems that another player has entered the stage. If Hades is the one behind all of the arisen and the undead that have come back to fight us and to push back this land, didn't that man in red you fought also say that he was given powers by Hades? Didn't he try to bring back the dead when you fought him?
He did. I hadn't considered it that way.
That means that there's a piece on the board we can't see, and he seems to have his fingers in a lot of places that are consequential to our survival. Well, I guess that means we're going to have to keep an eye out for anything that comes forward from this Hades. If he has issues with Zeus and wants to take him down, then he will be an ally of convenience. But if what Max said is true, we do need to take back this region before we can do anything else. The populace needs to be relieved of the pressure from these monsters, and we need to make sure that we have secure borders so that way we can continue bringing back the military we once had if we have any chance of pushing outward and securing the rest of the regions.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Well, I think we have our plan. Go, strip off your armor, and sleep and eat. You've earned it. You've done more than enough for today. We have a lot to go over and a lot to deal with before we go back into the swing of things. Prepare yourselves for whatever may show its head. You will be on the front lines. Unfortunately, a duty that I do not wish to task you with, but you seem to be the only ones that can. But you've earned your sleep. Go take it.
Don't mind if I do.
And so as you all go about getting yourselves back to your rooms, to your barracks, to your staging areas, you gather your things and bring yourself back together. You set yourself up to sleep. You eat, you drink, you stretch. You put your armor on the racks, you put your clothing upon the hangers and whatnot that you have, and you simply lay yourselves down. You all have strange dreams that night. The only one of you that doesn't is Creed, which, in a strange turn of events is a nice change of pace and a relaxing one, if that.
I have a question.
Yes.
Since vampires don't sleep, am I just having...
You do elf trances, essentially.
Okay.
By the way, real quick, Cactus, how you doing, buddy? You okay there?
Mhm.
Not really.
He's been messaging me. I'm sorry if you're interrupting your monologue here, Graham, but I gotta ask, you okay there, buddy? Are you good?
Not particularly.
You don't understand.
He's got-
When you began the whole thing with Max, he messaged me
Phantom,
SOS
his
help
beard
me. So
is not
I just need to take a second to make sure he's
trimmed
good.
at all. It's compressed.
Yeah, I was saying if he's at the
really
level where I'm
fucking
at,
high.
See?
yeah, he's not well.
All right, okay. Go
It's just
you
flat
go ahead,
instead of
Graham. Sorry,
playing
I
with
wanted
it.
to just check in on him.
I think it's because Cactus started to have the same realizations of the breadcrumbs I was leaving. Because I got some messages too. Of like, oh god, oh wait, oh god, oh wait.
The paranoia is real.
As the dots started to connect to each other. But you all
It's
find
just a bad
yourself.
trip. It's okay.
It's okay. You're just playing D&D. It's not real. Max can't actually hurt you, or can he? So, you all find yourselves sleeping. Creed, you have a silent night. You fall asleep and you stay asleep. No dreams plague you.
Nice.
Or you dream of your home. And you begin to see flashes of events that weren't quite there before. You see your village. You see the seashore that you stayed on. You see everything as it once was. And then you start to see what happened next. But this time it's different. Before you try to remember, it was foggy. You couldn't quite see the faces of what had attacked you, what had taken your family away. You thought it was a fire, mercenary group, a natural disaster. And for a long time you believed him to have been taken from you forcefully. And now you finally see it. Almost as in a shot of clairvoyance, a vision popping through your head, breaking through walls as if your mind being reopened from the magic you cast earlier, or just from being with these soldiers that you've been fighting with, has opened your mind to what truly happened. You see an abomination. It is a creature that seems to be the size of a Goliath. But its body seems to be covered in black leather clothing with pieces of armor spread across its joints. Darkened boots lay upon its feet that seem to have attachments on it that help it grip the ground it stands on. The coat it wears seems to be of another dark material, almost of a dark navy blue compared to the black the leather strappings. And on its head, a silver helmet with no openings for an eyes or mouth. Just a simple angled plate. It carried with it a large mace of sorts, the top of it in curved, ornate details, both dangerous and intrinsic. You see what it did. It was one of 3 that came to your village. It was one of 3 that burned it down and took your family away. The description of what you see matches what Creed saw in his vision of what the prophet was working on. Their doomsday weapon. Their ultimate soldier. You believe what you saw was a prototype a first version. As if Creed sees them working on it now, that means that they must have been testing it. And unfortunately, you were an experiment. And it cost you something that you held dearly, that they could care less about. Nez, in your dreams you see a number of things float through your mind. Lives you've lived, and lies you've lived. A number of things you've picked up and learned over your years. An understanding of the world around you as being an outcast, as someone different. You remembered the Godfall. You remember what came next. You remember shelter being something you wished you had. As being a changeling, you tried your best to blend in at every sense and turn. As you, doppelgangers, and others that could mimic appearance were the first to be hunted down by the soldiers of the gods, of those that were indoctrinated. The changelings and doppelgangers that were captured were not killed. They were changed. They were turned into soldiers that would infiltrate forces in safe places to only weed out the weak and to send back information to the prophet himself, where those same monsters that Creed described would show up on their doorstep, rip off the doors, and remove the problem from the roots down. You have been chasing that nightmare for years, as you try not to let those around you know that you can shift, as it makes you a target. It makes you worth something to the enemies you face. And this night, after everything you've gone through, though it was a joyful experience, it was something that you learned a lot, and nothing really came out of it. It's just that the instability of everything going on seemed to break through those layers of repression that you have put down to block you away from those memories. But ever since Creed brought up what he saw, it has been roaming through your head at a quickened pace. And tonight, when you sleep, it comes to full fruition. Okros, during your sleep, you see a number of things happen. Much like Nez, you remember the Godfall. You remember where you were when the Colossi showed. You remember why you formed a blood bond with this gnome that seemed to save your life and you saved his, and why the two of you became not only fast friends but almost dependent on one another. You found that the two of you were the only things you could count on, as every ship you went to seemed to try and stifle you or turn you in. Being individuals of great and small stature, of being of great skill and power, you were targets of rare bounties and money and prestige that could be used to save one's own skin. And so that's when you became the Spice Brothers, the Spice Pirates, those that sailed the seas in a small schooner, causing wreckage and woes to anyone they came across, and why you found yourself here with the Resistance. Because you knew that anyone who was in here would not try to turn you in, as they were all fighting for the same thing you did, the same thing you want, the freedom to go without being hunted, the freedom to live your own life. And it shakes you and Warfrin to the core when you wake up in the middle of the night. You can hear Aura whimpering in her sleep a couple rooms down. You can hear Nez sitting up with a shock and throwing something across his room, as you can hear him hyperventilating rather deeply, as if he was watching something chase him. And you wake up to feeling that Warfrin was taken, that you lost the one thing you held dear, and you see that he is still sleeping soundly in his bed, trying his best to catch up on the sleep as the exhaustion from earlier took him. You've only felt this fear once, and you would hope that you would never feel it again. But something is off. The vibe check has failed. And you're sure that wherever your path takes you is going to test your true mental constitution. And lastly, we find Nameless, sleeping in his bunk, doing his best to catch up on what sleep he can. Nameless, you remember why you became a sniper. You remember why it was important that you did so. You remember that something was taken and you didn't have the strength to fix it. That you just couldn't physically stop it from happening. And so you put yourself through the trials to learn to be a sniper, to be a sharpshooter. When you came to become enlisted and to learn as much as you could from either other rangers or from the groups of soldiers that would meander through the village of your childhood, they would simply laugh at you. They didn't believe you. They didn't think that you could do what was necessary. Until one individual found you and gave you that choice. Unfortunately for you, it cost you more than you thought. The next few years of your life were torturous, as you were put through trial after trial after trial after trial, pushing your body to its absolute limit. Tonics and concoctions being given to you and injected into your body to push it further past what it is now. Giving you the ability to utilize magic where you had none. Your ability to sprint at high speeds, to outpace your prey and foes alike, to be able to put your shots in such a small space at such a far distance for the coin of the payout. You were supposed to be their perfect soldier until you realize what they were doing. And that's where your nightmare starts. As you live through that same moment of where one of the tabaxis, another small breed, was with you. And you remember them having issues, not being able to pass their tests. And you remember them being taken away. You physically unable to stop whoever does it. The nightmare's the same every time. Your arms become limp. The sweat on your palms making your hands slick. Even though you know the correct event was that you just weren't strong enough. But your mind tends to torture you further. You remember his face. You remember his eyes. It's why you don't like looking into a mirror. He had the same eyes as you. You wake up in a cold sweat, in a panic, as you believe your door was being opened. It wasn't. You suddenly have those flashes roam back through your head of the people that took that tabaxi away seem to match the description of what Creed saw that was with the prophet and Zeus. A large figure in blackened pants with blackened boots and a blue top with padding and plates all over its body at certain points and its joints. A silver helmet with no eyes and no mouth, just a smooth, angled surface covering its features. they being the size of a Goliath with the strength of 10 men. And you believe that hearing that description that they're making something worse than that one sends a shiver up your spine. The next morning finally comes around. All of you, besides Creed, find yourself in a cold sweat. You shake it off to the best you can as you go to the showers. Think about what you saw and why. You come back to the cradle. The large atrium with the crystal inside of it. You see that the crystal has risen and has begun spinning once again. You see a blue piece of gas, of mist, swirl through the center as it seems to exit the crystal and form into a humanoid in front of you. Starting with the feet into brown, pointed boulder shoes, flat nose, very well pieced together. The pants heavily starched and hemmed to what needs to be of a deep blue color with purple trim around the pockets. A waistcoat and a shirt, a vest, if you will, of the same color and same trim color. Sitting upon his torso, his hands, a deep violet that don't seem to show the texture of veins or vessels. They just seem smooth, one-surfaced. The next was his neck that looks the same. His face, a round-ish oval with two bright blue, foggy eyes instead of normal eyes that you would see on a person. His head bare as a bowler hat sits upon it. And he looks to all of you and goes, "Well, it's about time you figured it out." And that's where we end our session.
Bro.
I don't know about you. Creed slept like a baby.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch the VOD because I think I was taking my bio break during my dream because I didn't hear it.
Oh, hey, again, for once, Creed slept great.
Essentially,
Hey.
Jenna, your dream was that you realized that your parents were not taken by a god or a natural disaster or anything out of your control. That as Creed had given you the description of the monster he saw that was with the prophet and Zeus, that it was almost identical to the three things specifically that came to your village, burned it down, and killed most, if not all, of the adults, including your parents. And you
They
came to
came
the
under this-
realization that you were a prototype run. You were an experiment.
Mhm. So you're changing my backstory on me.
Well,
No, you're
yes
still
and
gonna
no.
evolve.
Your family was killed by the gods. It just wasn't by a god.
They were on land, though. They weren't in the village. I'm from the under the sea.
Yeah, it was just happened to be a village on the seashore. You're a sea elf.
Okay.
You do live in the water, but sea elves are not deep sea elves like tridents. Tridents would live all the way
Okay.
under the ocean. Sea elves live kind of like the waterborne Avatar species from the new Avatar movie. Those guys,
Never seen it. Never seen it.
like you're fucking semi-aquatic apes. How about that? Semi-aquatic apes. Like, you
Okay.
can go under the water, you can hold your breath for a long time, you can swim really well, you can live near it, under it, etc. It's just that you need to come up for air eventually, and so you have like a semi-submerged village. So that's essentially the long and short with that. But yeah, so that was all of your stories coming through. And so we're going to do a quick little breakdown, go over everyone's favorite moments, and then we'll wrap it up and we'll call it a night. So, Jenna, starting with you, what was your favorite moment?
Oh God. I don't even know.
Turn that off now.
Probably being able to call it that my spell was gonna backfire before I even rolled my spell dice. I'm like, this is gonna be bad because I'm like, yeah, let's go for the level 5.
Yeah, the moment you said level 5, I was like, no.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is the first one that fails.
It was either could go really well or really bad. Like it's,
And it was conveniently me. It was conveniently me.
It can only be you.
Only me. I'm not allowed to have nice things, clearly.
No. You're just finally coming into the circle that Creed's been vibing in all by himself.
It's either that.
Welcome to the
Either that
trauma
or when-
circle.
Either that or when Rage saved my fucking ass from being completely obliterated by that fireball thing's weapon.
Oh my god, one shot. I couldn't believe that.
That would have been horrible.
I would be out of the game, and I would be very, very, very,
well,
very
you
sad.
wouldn't be killed instantly. You would definitely be in a bad spot. You would be having a bad time. And you would
No, I
have
would've
to, as a
completely
player in
taken me
character,
out.
mentally process
There it is.
that.
And so, I wish I could find the source, but it was oh god. It was like a Tumblr post, and it was like when the DM gives you this look. You roll something that gives you this look.
Oh no! Why you make that face?
That's all I gotta think of. When you're like, you take full damage. You don't take double. And I was like, I just imagine you look it up. You're like,
How do hit points work? Because that would have been, had I had to take double, it would have been 68. And my max is 66.
Yeah, so you would have basically hit 0 and would have been incapacitated. The only time you have to worry about your hit points, if it's more than 10 to 15 over your max in a single hit, is where you can get insta-gibbed, so to speak.
Okay.
So since it was only 2 over, you would have probably just been like burned real bad, knocked unconscious, having not a great time, reacting
I'm already
badly
not
to
having a good
the amount of heat that's hitting you instantaneously, stuff like that.
That would have been some smoked salmon, that's for sure.
Oh yes, 100%.
Yep.
Mr. Crid. Mr. Crid, what was your favorite moments?
I didn't actually know it was gonna happen, and I was like 90% certain I was just gonna be a straight suicide bomber. And I was like, I got enough armor and hit points. I could probably get out of this one. And instead, I technically buried myself alive. So I think that's an improvement.
I mean, you could have just been evaporated. Would you rather that have happened?
No. But I was like, well, there's a lot of big stuff here, and everyone else has guns. And I'm still assuming Creed doesn't know how to use guns, so he's got a sword.
Yet. You could probably
he's got a sword, and those guys have fucking trees. I'm not a physicist or anything, but like I'm pretty sure tree beats sword. Just
And write that down, everybody. Tree beats sword. Write it down. Write it down. Facts. Hot takes.
No. I kind of seen Mexico was kind of nice, I will admit.
It was more of, I can't remember, I think Stealth was like, hey, so you're just leaving those breadcrumbs out, and I can see both Cactus and Blackburn panicking in their voice, and I was like, yeah, that's my favorite thing, is to be like, it's a tactic that would have only been used by a handful of people who had modern military training, who was with you in that journey. And it was like, it wouldn't have been the Kingslayer. It was like, you remember the Kingslayer got gibleted? Well, it can't be Cactus or Nate. That's right, because they got zooped out of somewhere. So who was the last one that was with you? And you were like, fuck.
Well, I was like, well, you know, one of the gods just seems to be bringing people back. I was like, I don't know. Kingslayer seems like the right person to immediately go for. You know, he's like, it's like, oh, it's, all these knights, and I ignore those dead people. This dude went around murdering people for years, and almost got away with it. That guy, I want him on my MVP team.
Yeah, it would have helped if he didn't get turned into jelly. But, you know, potatoes.
Overall, though, 100% best moment. Everyone else got the trauma this time around, so.
Everyone else got to ride on the bad train.
I'm not riding alone. Come on. Find a nice seat. Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard the sad train.
Here's my receipt. I want a refund.
There are no refunds on the sad train.
Only pain.
Only pain. Here, I need to make sure you understand.
There are no refunds on the sad train.
Also, like half of our party actively tripping bowls was pretty entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
Even if
really
the person
funny.
who's not here had me nervous.
That boy.
Because I had Discord minimized. They didn't even give me the pop-up. I looked down my phone from a moist character as SOS help me. What?
He's 50 fucking miles to Pluto. That man is
That man was. He was like, I'm high as a kite. I was like, no. That is not. No thrush traps. No thrush traps. I am the thrush trap. Anyway. Cactus, was not like a kite high. He was like USS Saturn. He was out of here. He was the Voyager. He was in the next solar system.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Burn. What kind of cactus?
I gotta get the voice on. The moist cactus.
Love it.
You're welcome. I know what you meant, Carly. I was giving you the shenanigans. Alright, Mr. Rage. Mr. Nameless. Favorite moment.
Yeah, so my stream deck's kind of fucked up, so I guess I'm gonna do this in character.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not switching. I don't care. Whatever. Do you really need to ask? First of all, that fucking explosion sequence, like, literally my favorite moment of D&D ever so far. It's just perfection of it. So the fact that, you know, I was like, okay, I'm gonna load the red tip rounds. I have a sneaking suspicion is what they're gonna do. Then I went canon with it and rolled emphasis, and it worked out. The entire fucking just image that I got in my head from you talking about it was just amazing. And then the fact that the damage roll ended in 69, it was literally perfection from beginning to end.
It was also improved by the fact that I had stuff on to really emphasize the situation.
Was the muzzle report? Was that from the sniper franchise?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Like, I know that sound. I was supposed. I wasn't there, so I kept my mouth shut the entire time.
Yeah, so that was, I liked having those things on there, as well as like the fantasy things of like, you're in danger. Like the danger noise. Or the fear noise. Just the deep
So the music you played when you were introducing the hordes and stuff, like the haunted house horror-esque music, is how I read it. That actually made me hella fucking like anxious and nervous because I don't like
it was this
haunted
one.
houses. No, it was music of some sort.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was this one. This is my favorite one to use.
Yeah, that one. Nope.
I have another fun one.
All I could think of with that though was
It's a rip-off. Dude, the other one I was going to use, I was stuck between the two. was either the first one or this one.
Jeez.
It's really just there. My favorite, though, out of all of them to play is one that I had saved that I'm going to use later, and I'm not going to tell you when, is this one.
Why do I feel like we have
That's
a carnival in
floor.
our future?
I know.
Was the clown coming out?
No, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
Actually,
no.
that's first one flesh pounds.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to be playing for when you guys get pulled into the Feywild. You're going to get pulled into a Carnival of Freaks, and that's basically going to be the soundtrack for it. It's just, it's a twisted version of March of the Gladiators that Killing Floor used, that I think really sets the tone for that kind of situation. But I loved having that situation. Then, of course, Rage, did you like the nice little background emphasis I gave you at the little end piece there?
It was so good. It was like at the end of it. I mean, I gotta talk to you about that a little bit, but because you hit a little close to home. I almost lost it when you were talking about my nightmare and whatnot. I was like, oh, that's just not fucking fair. Almost lost it. I'll tell you why later. But yeah, it was pretty good.
Basically, I wanted to connect all of you to the creature that Creed described, because that's going to be a common factor, and also give you a little bit of things to worry about, I guess.
I'm
is the
sure
right
everything's
turn of
fine,
phrase.
guys.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Everything's
Yeah.
fine.
There's no problems there. It's
Never an issue.
We're gonna go there. They're gonna have snacks out. They're gonna have name brand snacks.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Jenna,
Name brand.
Jenna, to put you at ease, this is for Saturday, not for Fridays.
Oh, thank fuck.
Yeah, it's going to be a Saturday thing, because apparently Saturday group that was meant to be more of a hardcore group has now become a bunch of goobers. Those of you who are listening to Saturday group, you are goobers, and I love you.
Yeah, no, I was.
But you guys have apparently become like the hardcore group with your characters, which is kind of interesting, and I'm here for it. But yeah.
Yeah, no, so I was about to tell you right here and now that I would not be at that session if it was Fridays.
Yeah, that's why it's going to be a Saturday thing, because they just went to the Mimic Museum. They have the campaign that only has the right attitude for going into the Feywild to a twisted sideshow horror festival. So yeah, it's going to be pretty dope shit. But to keep everything moving, Stealth, favorite moment, what you got?
I mean, I like what you did for like my dream. I really loved how the concoction I made, the way Creed used it, the way Nameless hit it, and the damage number that came out of it.
Everything full circle, everything good.
I mean, like, yep, not the full thing full circle. Yes, Jenna. The fact that you got the pots.
Yeah, Jenna found
Hey.
the pots, which led to the whole thing, so Creed doesn't have to hold a handful of black powder and like yuck it at a zombie.
Had I passed on my option to look for something, because I didn't need anything, y'all wouldn't have had pots. So I am just as much part of this.
You did good, Jenna. Give yourself a good pat on the back. You did a good job. You did good teamwork.
That's the only good I did. That's the only good I did. I almost smited my entire.
Well, thankfully that spell doesn't do multi-attack. It's just one attack per turn, so that's also good. Because I was thinking about it, I was like, oh, it's supercharged. Am I going to give it D3 attacks per turn? Which
Yeah, if you would have hit Creed with that lightning bolt, we would have been dead.
it would have been game
All
over.
of us.
Mhm.
Oh no! Fun fact. Fun fact. So based on your distance that you could possibly like roll to, we were all out of danger, and then Creed ran into the middle of the fucking map. I'm like, God damn it, Creed!
Which is why I was like, okay, do I want to do 3 lightning bolts or one that just kind of roams around? But also, it only got to do the one thing, so I was like, it's fine.
We were all out
Yeah.
of distance anyways for dice roll, so.
What else you got still?
The last thing I have is like me just joking about a childhood memory in Nez's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Running with Roman candles in hand.
Oh, yeah.
Thump. Be gone.
It's like,
Well,
I mean, this is real. I'm like, I'm gonna just have fun with this one.
But I was saying something real quick. I don't mean to cut you off, Nez, but Burn, just, speaking of pass on the back, Mrs. Rage says that we are goobers, so you have
Yes.
1 seconding you there.
Yes.
Just want to let you know.
Alright, you got anything else, Mrs. Stealth?
No, that's it. I just gotta finish clipping your what Rage sent you earlier.
Yeah,
the one bite down.
I think I got it when I did like the auto clip. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look at it. Anyone else can grab it and pull it down. That'd also be very good.
It was so good. That
Mr.
would have been my favorite moment.
Mr. Rexus.
I mean, the nightmare scene was definitely... It helped get in character and, like, thinking about how the actual future would go. But on top of that, the just it sucked that we got hit by the fireball, but it was kind of funny that like 2 spells in a row were like, let's try this. Uh-oh. How about we try this?
I was so scared after that.
I have
I was
one
so
option
scared.
for range attack, and that's guiding bolt. And no. Yeah, I'm not being 3 for 3. I'm sorry.
Turns into that 20,000 lumen flashlight. Just blinds everyone in a 3-mile radius.
Yeah.
My eyes! Yeah, that was one thing that I improv'd at the very end was y'all's nightmares. So I was like, how am I going to start solidifying all of your connections together? Like the reasons that you're all here and that everything's been put in place in a very specific way. And that was the best way that I found to do it, to be like, I'm going to start laying out the breadcrumbs. Yes.
Off topic. Do I press long rest now?
Yes, you all will have a long rest now.
Do I get my life force back?
Yes,
I
you'll
don't get
get
the
your
pro-
life
I don't
force
understand
back.
the problem is, guys. There's no 60 out of 74. Like,
You were fucking lucky. You shut your mouth. It could have been way worse for you.
I know. I have to take the piss out of it, though.
If you had any other shield other than that piece of the old one eye, you would have ate shit.
Well, yeah, what I was like, I was trying to figure out, I'm like, I can insulate one person if I touch him. And I'm like, okay, I'll look through everyone's character sheets. Okay, no. Okros doesn't have one. Fuck. Well, I guess I'm not figuring out if he needs protection from it. So I went with the person who was immediately halved.
Thank you.
And I mean, how lucky was he? Because both of my fucking dice were above 10. Like, it was succeeding whether you wanted it to or not.
Yeah, it was gonna be damage regardless, but it was with the fact that Creed had that just larger shield that can tank more damage was the only reason he really didn't get evaporated during that explosion sequence. If he had done it with like a regular shield, it would have taken a lot more damage. It would have been a lot worse. But anyway, with that, I got nothing. My few favorite moments were definitely you guys kind of putting the pieces together, getting everyone kind of on the same page. When you all, out of character, started to realize that, oh, that was just to see if we were here. You started to realize, like, wait, if they're talking about Zeus, why are they on this side of the region? Zeus is the fuck over there. And we just went out and nuked him. Oh shit, someone's watching us. and everyone was like, "Fuck, fuck, 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 fuck."
Oh, I was thinking they were. I just thought they were lost.
No,
I thought Hades set up. They're like, go kill Zeus. I was like, okay, hang on, we got a misunderstanding here. This is
I'm
fine.
just waiting for you to give me my Poseidon I want.
Yeah, so that was one of my favorite ones. The other favorite one was you guys kind of working in character and doing things that are kind of like out of the ordinary, which is also really good. But yeah, so it was, I like this. I like you guys kind of really coming together and doing a bunch of weird stuff. That's always the fun one when it comes to doing this kind of stuff.
Quote, and oh, now we talk. Okay.
Oh, now we talk. I love how Aura was just salty about that. She's like, oh, I guess now you're going to talk to this guy instead of just stabbing him. And I was like,
it's all about being polite.
But he's my friend. The bear was my friend that you fucking stabbed him. It's just like
well,
the
to be
druid.
fair, the bear attacked
druid
me first.
Well, that's the thing. Is the druid being salty of like the bear could have been my friend, but you stabbed him, and then she's mad that you didn't go out and stab Max when he showed up.
Look, let me put it this way: if I go to shake your hand and you try to stab me with a knife, you're not going to be my friend. But if we shake hands and then as soon as you drop the hand, you stab me, you know what? We can talk. All right.
The unicorn hat, wasn't it? The unicorn hat did it for you. That saved his life.
No. I saw him when he wore it. I mean, he doesn't so much anymore, but you know, there's other reasons for that. He's not supposed to be here, so.
I was genuinely salty. Like, I'm not even joking. Both Jenna as a person and Aura as a character were like, fuck you.
You know what? Both in character, the bear should have been more polite.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have stabbed him.
He was trying to eat us!
Before we continue down this ethical dilemma rabbit hole,
there is no ethical dilemma.
Is anyone staying on that's still streaming? Rexus, are you doing anything?
Yeah. Just
Yes.
Gonna be seeing if anybody wants to play something or if I'm just gonna be playing alone.
Okay. Well, then we will raid out to Roxas.
Go to the Rex.
Go to the Roxas. If you're not following anyone that is in the party already, what's wrong with you? Fix that problem. Because, of course, those who weren't here tonight, we, of course, have Jenna. She doesn't stream, but she plays Aura. She's pretty cool. We have Blackburn, who doesn't stream, but he's pretty cool. He plays Creed. We, of course, have It's Times the Rage, playing Nameless. We have Stealth Rage 7, playing Nez, Changeling. We have Rexus playing Okros. We have a Moist Cactus playing Yuri. And, of course, our dear friend Birdclock playing Warframe. Check us out tomorrow for Beyond, or my mistake, for the Siege of Etheria. We're going to be going into episode 21. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be real cool. Real cool stuff. Yeah. And then check us out next week for the next episode of Beyond Etheria Ashes. And then now every Thursday, I am now doing, out of popular opinion, apparently, is Dungeon Father bedtime stories. Starting about... Yeah, about like 8:30, 9 o'clock Eastern on Thursdays. I will come on and I will basically ASMR, a nice little story for all my children to listen to. Stories of old that forged the world you find yourselves in. But with that, we will see you later. We're 5 seconds out from the raid starting. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week.